interactive chat show dedicated to advancing American politics, to finding a compromise between the left and the right and forging forward and make a brand new political movement. We call it a third party. It's a very simple plan, really. Finding commonalities with social liberals and fiscal conservatives at the same time. It's a rather revolutionary idea in a way because it bypasses the mainstream media and their censorship. And you're saying, what do you mean, censorship? I thought we lived in a free and democratic country. Now that's what you've been led to believe. That's not really true. You see, the entire mainstream media is controlled by about 4 companies, and all of them answer to about 3 or 4 people. The American people don't have any real free press left. Most of the journalism that you see now is being performed by computers. Most of the news you read is being done by computers. You know, when the 2008 economy collapse occurred, in 2009, 14,000 journalists were fired. They were not hired back. A lot of the big networks have kept small crews, skeletal crews, and they just work with computerized information fed to them by the AP, which goes through censors. So everything in America is now been modified and altered. The mainstream media is essentially a Soviet-style propaganda machine now. So we are building this political party despite those odds. And your chance to talk about a third party is the only chance we have of getting the word out, because my YouTube hits are frozen. I can't get the YouTube counter to actually work. We went from 20,000 hits a week to 20 in 2011. I just showed the entire group of people in our pre-show that Alex Jones is Bill Hicks, and people refuse to acknowledge it. This is how completely programmed we are. I even have Alex Jones admitting he's Bill Hicks.
Yes, I am Bill Hicks.
Okay. That's nice. Thank you. Yeah, so he admits he's Bill Hicks, but you still don't believe it. Thank you, Oma. And congratulations on your success and all the fun things you're doing online. Congratulations. I'm glad that you're actually getting your word out finally. Oma's got a very compelling story. The truth is, in her life, is very sad. Her child was stolen from her. And she is still trying to find some resolution and closure. And it's been, what, 16 years? And I don't want to bring you to tears because I know it's still a very sensitive issue for you, Oma, but 17 years? The tragedy of children being stolen from their families is represented here with Oma. 55,000 kids, including infants, are stolen from their families every year. Go to missingkids.com and you will see the story evolve in front of your eyes. What is our government doing about it? Nothing. Next to nothing. You call police departments, well, we got it on the list. There's nothing we can do about it because there's a lot of people that are missing their kids here, ma'am. They just give you the runaround. It's a joke. But it's not a joke. You're not laughing. The American people don't seem to even care that 55,000 kids a year are being snatched from their family. So what does the government do? They give every single CPS worker a bonus check of $4,500 to steal a child from a person's family. Every single time they go in and pull a kid out of the household and put him in a foster care home, the federal government gives that CPS worker $4,500. And in some cases, like in Ohio, it's $30,000 because the state kicks in all kinds of extra money. So CPS is becoming a corrupt organization to the core. And when I become president, I am going to completely eliminate Child Protective Services and replace them with a robust detective police force looking into this incredible problem facing our nation. And I want to tell you as well, there's something very, very disturbing. There's a video called Innocence Destroyed on YouTube, and I'm not going to play it for you because we can't play kids on the Vaughn network, but Innocence Destroyed shows every year 1,000 kids under the supposed protection of CPS end up being tortured and then killed. These are kids being put in foster parent homes where the foster parent is a pedophile, a torturing, sadistic pedophile. And they're drugging these kids. They're torturing these kids. And there's nothing our government's doing about it. And they still get $4,500 per kid. Bill Clinton put that entire wheel in motion. He's the guy that issued the $4,500 perk for every kid taken out of a home and put in foster care. Isn't it ironic that Bill Clinton, the guy that was accused of having sex in the White House with another woman, also the man who's now allegedly cavorting on Orgy Island with Jeffrey Epstein, a known pedophile? Isn't it interesting to see that that guy is completely protected and isn't even mentioned in the mainstream media? That, oh God, we wouldn't want to jeopardize Hillary Clinton's ascent to the whatever if we mentioned Bill Clinton's behavior at Orgy Island. Oh no, we don't want to talk about that. But that's the guy that gives CPS all this money to pull beautiful little kids out of their beautiful little homes and give them to pedophiles to be tortured and killed. Are you getting pissed off? I am. I get pissed off just saying this stuff. I can't believe that this has been happening. And our president has done absolutely nothing. I would love to be president. Like I said, I would replace the CPS network entirely. They are covering for a clandestine group of pedophiles, and I can't give you specifics, but it's just pretty sad that the people that do reveal the truth are killed. People like Nancy Schaefer and her husband, a woman who's a state senator in Georgia who did an investigation in Atlanta, Georgia, uncovering this entire network of human trafficking of children. She ends up being dead in her house with a murder-suicide, claiming the police claim that her husband killed her. Yeah, I mean, who shoots somebody in the back and then shoots himself in the stomach? That's the story behind the Nancy Schaefer story. You can look it up. She's been dead almost 5 years now. I'm shocked. She had 2 hours of documentary footage that were taken by a producer and destroyed. There are pedophile cabals and networks. Simply search for the words "the finders." These are the people that are working secretly to take kids and use them as sex tools to manipulate congressmen. No one would ever commit suicide by shooting themselves in the stomach. It's like, what, a day of dying? And that's the Franklin cover-up, that's right. Let me tell you something, this is the truth. The Nebraska State Police investigated the Boys Town Network and a group called the Franklin Group, run by a guy named Lawrence King. They found out that this incredible human trafficking child slavery network ran all the way to D.C., so the Nebraska State Police called the FBI and said, hey, we think we're onto something here. And the FBI turned around and said, cease and desist your investigation. Stop here. It's never been disproved. No, nothing about the Franklin cover-up has been disproved. And to give you more validity, I'm going to give you my edited version of the Conspiracy of Silence video as my little gift to you. Okay? And you can look at it anytime you want. It's a edited video that's not too long, but it really goes into the depth of what I'm talking about here. It's called The Missing Kids Cover-Up, and it has the same number of hits it had last time I checked, even though 50 people have clicked on it. All right? Proving that my hit counter is locked. Thank you. It's a Nancy Schaefer memorial video I did for her. I released it the day, a 3rd year anniversary of her death. But yeah, it's pretty serious.
Every year in America, 55,000 kids are missing, gone, vanished. We don't know where they went.
All right, so in order to watch that, you have to watch the whole thing. But it's 26 minutes, edited down to the most important parts of the movie, Conspiracy of Silence, and it gives you the thrust of what I'm talking about here. All right, thank you. Anybody who supports Jade Helm will be eliminated from the room, banned, because you're an absolute idiot. And stop coming in here acting like an idiot. We've got very little time to organize this third party. We may very well be in the only window of opportunity before the internet completely dries up and all the free video opportunities are shut down. The Hachi Laredo drug cartels at the border will be dealt with a border fence. I have a 1,000-mile border fence in mind, built by non-U.S. citizens who are currently in our prison system, prison labor, ostensibly. And they'll be supervised by full authoritative Border Patrol agents watching over the operation, as well as military personnel. I don't care if you're all idiots. I'm here to inform you and enlighten you and awaken you. It's okay. We're all idiots one time or another in our life. I'll tell you, I told you a story a couple days ago about how I drove across country with no sleep when I was 18. 3 days I drove across country. I was an idiot. Okay? My chances of getting in a car accident were huge. Thank God no one was driving with me. But don't ever drive past sleepy time, please. Do yourself a favor. Just last year, a young man who just got his license decided to take his family, the North Carolina family, to Disneyland. He and his friend decided to sit in the front seat, buckle up, and start driving because this is the first time he's been driving. His 4 family members were in the back seat of their SUV. And they're on their way to Disneyland, right? Or Disney World in Florida. Well, he decides to fall asleep at the wheel, crash, and then kill all 4 people in the back seat. His friend and he survived because they were buckled up. Can you imagine the guilt he must feel? His brother, his sister, his mom, his dad, all dead. That's pretty sad. So don't drive and sleep on the road. What I did when I was 18 was stupid. I was an idiot. I was lucky I survived. Okay? So we're all idiots at one point or another in our life. You take chances when you're young. That's why the incidence of car accidents is so high among 18 to 25-year-olds. Because you don't realize how unsafe that car is. And a slight little move and looking behind your seat, and all of a sudden you're in oncoming traffic because your arm kind of goes over to the side when you move naturally. When everyone goes like this, your arm normally goes like that. Seriously. So if you think, oh yeah, I can talk over here, and yeah, what's going on, dude? You're into an oncoming traffic situation and you could be dead. So yeah, you can expect a false flag soon. The government has been orchestrating false flags one after another to try to trigger gun control. Because the powers that be, they don't want our nation to have guns. They don't want any of us to have actual weapons to defend ourselves. The breaking news that is coming today, right now, is that Barack Obama has signed a deal with Iran, giving them $50 billion and a nuclear weapon. That's the president that you decided to choose, all of you. I know a lot of you didn't vote for him, but some of you who did vote for him, you got what you paid for. You got the worst president on earth. This is a chance to put a feather in his cap, give Iran, a known terrorist nation, a nuclear weapon, and give them $50 billion that could have been used in our country. So it's time you wake up and realize we need a third party. Donald Trump couldn't handle me in a debate one-on-one if he tried. I would challenge Donald Trump to a debate any time of the day, without any prep, as long as he didn't have an earpiece like Obama does where they tell him what to say. Well, let's be clear. Did you hear Obama the other day talking about how he's sending ISIL forces? This is the weirdest thing ever. He's sending ISIL forces support and funding. Now, these are the ISIL forces that Iraq itself is fighting, right? Listen to this.
Was moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government.
So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
Okay, he got a lot of heat for this. Basically, he just said the truth, but he was not allowed to say the truth because basically no one in the government wants anyone to know that we've been secretly supporting the opposition. So he openly stated in a press conference that we were supporting ISIL forces. These are the very same forces that are attacking the Iraqi government that we installed. So now you're understanding how completely confused our government is. He didn't slip up. That was written by a speechwriter. The speechwriters don't even know what they're doing. I have much better hair than Trump, and any derogatory statements about me will be banned. I'm going to purge you, though. Thank you. Yes, sending them more money. Sending the one group of people that's trying to stop the Iraq government, which we help support, from succeeding. We're sending them money. So he doesn't even know what he's doing. The man is an absolute imbecile. No, it was written by obviously one of his imbecile speechwriters. Look, the CIA doesn't know how to shape the story anymore. It's so screwed up. How do you control a multi-headed snake that's out of control? You can't. Okay, well, if you're back to supporting the two-party system, we don't need you here. Then you're banned. Goodbye. Well, then word, I'm sorry to say, but people are that dumb when it comes to people with money. I know that sounds crazy, but then word has a very big concern here that people are dumb. Well, most people want to be millionaires. So when they see some guy who claims to have billions of dollars that he borrowed, he didn't earn that money, he borrowed it. They think he's some sort of a great big supportive winner of the capitalist system. They think he's somehow going to save everybody. When he himself, his only claim to fame is working on Mark Burnett's show, in which he was just fired, by the way, and making $72 million a year. Telling people all over his show, you're fired. That's his big claim to fame. I mean, it's crazy. I can't imagine anyone believing a person who is such an absolute corporate peg. I think the Iran deal is horrible, Liquid Angel. It's an absolute despicable deal. We gave them everything they wanted. Obama and Kerry just want to put a feather in their cap to make it seem like they're doing something, and they're throwing the American people and the safety of this world under the bus by giving Iran a nuclear weapon in 1 year and 1 day. It's just unbelievable. President Rouhani is, like Netanyahu said, killing the world by smiling. He is basically kissing everybody's ass to get what he wants, but all the while insisting he wants it all his way. Bottom line is, we'll never have nuclear security with countries like Iran acquiring nuclear weapons. We're losing it. In fact, we should have Israel sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Agreement. Yet Barack Obama hasn't even done that. You think he would have gone to Israel and said, well let's be clear. You do have nuclear weapons, right? He never said that. You do want to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Agreement, right? He never said that. So we had nothing to take to Iran and say, hey, Israel signed this. You need to sign something too. We had nothing. We had no bargaining position. All we had was economic sanctions. And the original tenet of that agreement was that we would stage down our economic sanctions. Well, now I'm seeing economic sanctions lifted completely. Iran's original position was we would not have economic sanctions if we would agree with this. Basically, Iran's giving up nothing. 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 All they're giving up is they were going to run 1,000 enrichment centrifuges. Now they're going to run 500 enrichment centrifuges and task the other enrichment centrifuges for medical nuclear material. I mean, the whole thing's a joke. And we've been lulled into sleep and complacency by God knows how many propaganda tools they're using against us. And we're sitting here going, and I'm even telling you, we need a third party, and you're going, it's sad. It really is. So let's take a look at the news. Well, Iran doesn't need a nuclear weapon, and they certainly don't need a nuclear reactor. The Iran deal boosts fears of a global oil glut, which is another byproduct of this nightmare. Global oil glut. If Iran starts trading oil and the economic sanctions are lifted, you're going to see the price of oil drop, which is going to defragment the profit mechanism in the Gulf oil countries involved. So when we see a global oil glut, what happens is they stop refining oil, and then we start to see shortages. Okay? I'm not talking about the Iranian people. I'm talking about their insane, psychotic leaders that want to have a nuclear weapon to threaten other nations. Focus, okay? The Iranian people are good people. I've met Iranian people. They're good people. Most of them are really very caring, and they're a very westernized country, believe it or not. But they're being run by an orthodox religious hierarchy, the Ayatollah Khamenei, that actually has no concern for the people. They only care about their orthodox religion and payback for Israel. All right? Sound is good. Thank you. Thank you. Look, we don't need more countries with more nuclear weapons. What in the word nuclear non-proliferation says that a country should acquire a weapon? Hello? Is there a brain cell in your head I can communicate to, any of you? Thank you. Nuclear non-proliferation means we get rid of nuclear weapons, not give one to a known terrorist country. I mean, it's not in the works here. So I predict that Israel will strike Iran within the next 6 months or a year. Bruise and Pooh says, "Oh, David, like my solution is that we stop importing oil and make everyone ride bicycles. This would stop our reliance for oil and fix the obesity crisis." Well, Bruise and Poohs, you're obviously a hardcore communist because you want to force people to do things. I see that in the word, and make everyone ride bicycles. I see that. But I'll bet you're the guy who stops off filling up your Prius every day because you're driving extra long distances because it's getting such good gas mileage. I can't play Mr. Rogers during our show, but thank you anyway for asking. Google has very strict standards. Even if we have the ability to play that, they're still going to make it so no one can see the video if I play that for you. Oma has not bought gas in 4 months. Cool. So you live where you are and you're bicycling, and that's, hey, I too want to strive for a nation that's not reliant on foreign oil. I do. We actually have a growth of oil production in our country, an alarming growth, 12% this past year. And we're making oil in ways that are jeopardizing the environment, killing off the planet. Fracking is extremely dangerous, the way they do it now with benzene. I have a way of doing natural fracking, which I will implement as president. But I can't do it right now. I can't tell Shell Oil or ExxonMobil to do natural fracking because I'm not president. But there's a way of actually getting really good, beautiful, sweet crude out of the ground by injecting cold water in 5 points or 6 points around a circle and then hot water in the middle. No toxins whatsoever, no benzene, no dangerous gas land. The water fills up the hole where the oil pops out. There's no earthquake possibilities like we're seeing in Oklahoma right now due to the excessive use of benzene. Yeah, so we've got a lot of ways to fix the problem, and we will still go with the infrastructure that we have. Unlike the raging communists that just said that we should all be forced to ride bicycles, I don't want to force you to give up your one infrastructure in your house that's keeping your life going, your car. We know that you're using a car. We know that it's doing the best it can. But the truth of the matter is, all kinds of technologies have been suppressed by the oil and the petrol banking community. They do not want you to get more than 30 to 40 miles per gallon. I drive a car that I bought 7, 8 years ago that was used, but it gets 60 miles per gallon. But I literally have to feather it to make it get 60 miles a gallon. I have to actually milk the gas, making sure it doesn't waste fuel. And I would urge everybody to get, some sort of a high mileage vehicle. But the fact is, and this is the truth, vehicles that get 200 miles per gallon are on the market right now. I'm going to show you a car that the XL1 gets an unbelievable 300 miles per gallon. Diesel. It's a pretty cool car, don't you think? That's a Volkswagen, and guess what? They will not allow it to be sold in America. Yeah, it gets 300 miles per gallon, but it won't be sold in America. It's the VW XL1. They won't sell it in America. You understand? Well, the back tires are covered for wind resistance. Let me show you my car that I bought recently. I bought another one. I liked it so much, I bought two of them. In 2006, I bought my car, which is this car with black pinstriping and racing striping. As you can see, the back wheels are covered on that car too. You see? That's my car. I get 60 miles per gallon in that car. We recently got the automatic version for Sarah. I bought another one, just like this one. And that gets about 50 miles per gallon. But it is a beautiful car that actually would really, really be fantastic long-term use for both Sarah and I think we're going to keep it forever. I'm never going to get rid of it. Jay Leno called the Honda Insight the most collectible car in America. So I bought two of them because I love them. I think they're great. But can I afford the XL1? No, I can't. Can I even have it in America? No, the government will not allow it to be sold here. So are you getting the picture here? How the government has purposely. No, it's not because it's expensive. The government doesn't want high energy solutions, low cost solutions for energy. They don't want anything that gets good gas mileage to be sold in America. Anything above 100 miles per gallon isn't sold in America. That's the problem. That's the truth. And for 200 years, designers, inventors have been coming up with all kinds of solutions that would get all of us incredible savings on our fuel. I mean, you guys are spending $50 per fill-up on your cars. Okay, Dave, Jade Helm starts at midnight tonight. Yes. Any advice for us? Stay inside. Don't breathe the night air. It'll be filled with pollution. Most of the vehicles they're going to be using, like the AWACS system that Shrek just told us about, they burn a lot of jet fuel. And you're going to be breathing a lot of diesel in Phoenix and Texas and areas like that. They're working on a night plan called Jade Helm, which many people don't even understand, and the government won't really define what they're doing. I know. But if you want to breathe fresh air, you probably should stay inside. I'm so sick and tired of corporate elitists dominating the media. Now we're seeing that Donald Trump is buying his way to the presidency. Every day he's getting free coverage in the news. See this? They run another straw poll. He leads second poll in a week. Basically, Donald Trump was put in play because he's trying to destroy the Republicans completely. A vote for Donald Trump at this point seems like a vote for Hillary Clinton because Donald Trump pissed off all these Mexicans. Government, I would be more thinking about corporate thugs, Dave. Well, they are the government, rambling cowboy. The government is comprised of corporate thugs. The thugs basically control the entire government. They've been controlling the government ever since JFK died. Thugs run our nation. Because you, the American people, have not built this third party, which we're so desperately trying to build, and you won't even commit to any ideas, let alone a donation, that's why they're able to control you. The corporate thugs know they own the two-party system, and they're going to control you well into the future. Trump is not the man who can lead this nation. He doesn't have any creative ideas.
Don't you have a screwdriver with a magnetic tip?
It might be in the drawer. It's a yellow one.
A yellow one. Okay, I'll look again.
It's that yellow screwdriver. Exactly. Trump has been put in the race to destroy the Republican Party, split the third party votes, and try to hijack this third party, and ultimately get Hillary to the office of the presidency. And Hillary's laying low right now. She won't answer any questions. She won't even talk about the missing emails about Benghazi because she knows that the longer she sits there and doesn't say anything, the more likely she's going to win. Trump raised the ire of the American people talking about the illegal alien problem. Well, I've been talking about the illegal alien problem for the past 7 years, and I've gotten a lot of people to support me for that reason. But I don't want to alienate Mexicans and call them murderers and rapists and drug addicts. Well, if you believe that $2 will be back after the Iran deal, $2 gas will be back, that's a short-lived fantasy, in my opinion. Yeah, the fantasy is that $2 gas is going to be back. Bottom line is the production value of oil right now is $45 to $50 a barrel. The real value of oil is $50 a barrel. If it drops to $30 a barrel, you're going to see refineries stop refining. You're going to see a lot of companies shut down their refining capability, and that's going to really cause a tremendous shortage of oil, ironically. So when you talk about a glut of oil, believe me, Iran, a country that's been producing oil for, 50 years, hasn't even made one single refinery. Now, all of you supporters of Iran and this stupid, horrible deal to give them a nuclear weapon and $50 billion of your tax money. Yeah. All of you who support Iran, I want you to know that they've had an opportunity to refine their own oil for 50 years. What have they been doing? They've been creating a nuclear reactor, which they don't need. They could have easily created an oil refining electricity plant, but they didn't do that. They created a nuclear reactor, which they don't need, a dangerous one at that, using old technology, on top of the fact that a similar one like the one they're building just blew up, Fukushima. And they've been creating 9 missile factories creating missiles. They burn oil, yeah, they do. And they could easily refine their own oil, but they export it to be refined back to them. Tell me why Iran hasn't built a refinery, state-of-the-art refinery. Could you answer that question? Thank you. Why did they focus on building a nuclear reactor that's unsafe? Anyone supporting another candidate here will be banned. I'm going to purge you. This is your last warning. I've had 0 time in the media, not one chance to talk about any issues with any official media source. And you come in here and have the audacity to support Mitt Romney in my room? Is this a joke or something? I've seen it firsthand too, guest 707. I did some negotiations with an Iranian back in the 1980s. It was a pretty serious situation. You need magnets? I've got magnets.
Magnet.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of them. Take the show for a while and I'll get them.
Okay, I got this.
Yeah, I got strong magnets.
Okay. Oh yes, I know where those are. Okay. All right. Okay, well, maybe I'll work on that, Morgan. It's a lot of work to do a commercial, but I could do on that.
You have my house keys?
No, I don't. I don't know where you put them. Aren't they on a different chain? I do. I am wearing a leather skirt and a leather vest. Do I think the Bush family will force Trump out the same way they forced out Romney? Probably. They're gonna try. Thanks. Ha ha ha. Okay. Welcome to Earth. That's fine. Not right now. Okay. So the Colorado shooting trial is still coming to a close. Hello, Shrek. How are you? I heard in the actual defense, in her last statement, she said that he was it was just strange. I think she said, she said the defense lawyer said he's not guilty by reason of insanity, and he said she's delusional, is what they're trying to say to that. Just hours away from Jade Helm getting started. Hopefully you can get some news out, Shrek. It's pretty crazy. Lizard, I'm going to ban you. Well, no, I'll purge you. Please stop discussing things that have nothing to do with politics or current events. Thank you. So Jade Helm is a military exercise that is starting in the Southwest, like Arizona and Texas, a couple other places that are... Okay, bye a lot, Lizard. Thank you. That is starting supposedly on July 15th. They've started bringing in a lot of military equipment down in those areas. Well, I can't wait to vote for David Sponheim in 2016. Some people believe Jade Helm is the beginning of martial law. True. And they're saying that they're trying to kind of implement this within our country. Hello, Mad Dog. Thank you. Hello. Sorry, Mad Dog, I didn't say hello. David does need to get on the ballot, and we need your help to get David on the ballot. Some states we can't start collecting signatures. However, you can start telling people to come to this show and help promote David's show. Well, that could be the case. 651, you could become a horse, I suppose, in another lifetime. David is my superhero. Sorry, Patriot Jaybird, you've really tried to ask questions of both Sarah and David and have gotten no response. Sorry, Patriot Jaybird, I suppose. How will a third party not essentially elect Hillary? Well, I believe a third party will can work toward electing a third party candidate rather than being just electing one of the other two parties. Especially if we can split the vote at least 3 ways. I personally think 2152, the polls have been bought by David. Not by David, but by Trump. I think the polls have been bought. Alex Bonito. David is currently he's taking a small break and will be back very soon. You'll vote if David gets on the ballot, so you're too old to work to get David on the ballot, but you will vote for David if he's on the ballot. Well, how about this? I'm a Pisces. You're able to sit at home and type on a computer, right? So one thing you could do that would really help is that you could log in, no problem, Patriot Jaybird, is that you can log in and, like, say you're reading an article about Trump, right? And then where there's comments, you can make accounts for all the different newspapers that write papers about him. And then on the comments say, you guys should really check out David John Sponheim for president. He's running under America's Third Party, and he has an awesome video chat show every single night where he talks directly to the American people. You could type that up. You could just put it in a little notepad document and just put it in every newspaper article that you read about Trump or Hillary or any of the other candidates running for president. That would be a huge help. I'm a Pisces. And that is what, okay, 894, you say, that is what people, something, Jade Helm, that cyber attacked the Office of Personnel Management to get names and that. Now, I was reading about the cyber attack that happened with the Office of Personnel Management, and with that, what was really interesting is 1.1 million fingerprints were also hacked. So they took not only personal information like social security numbers and those kinds of things, but they've also taken fingerprints, and as we know, fingerprints cannot be changed. So any information that was secured by fingerprints could be vulnerable in the future. Well, hopefully we can change the paradigm 9909 by electing America's third party. Perhaps we could do an FAQ on our website and/or submitted questions to answer on your site. That's an interesting point. We have our platform on our sites. That's it. Okay, serious question from a political statistician, media blogger, Liberty Tyrant. Why did David decide to run for president instead of a more realistic office? Does he have any policy experience at all? David decided to run for president because he believes that we need a top-down change in our country, and he did run for a more realistic office, yet he did not win that office. As far as policy experience, he has attended a couple different sessions, especially like on transportation locally, and has talked to people about changing some of the transportation issues locally. Okay, so Patriot Jaybird, if you want to submit a list of questions that we should answer on our site to America's Third Party at gmail.com, and with a suggestion that we add the answers to our website, that's really good. What do I think about Ohio's voters? I think that we need Ohio's voters to help get David on the ballot there. That's a good point. 894 asks, is an asteroid really going to hit Earth on September 24th, 2015? I have no idea to answer to that question. The second part of your question, is that why the government has Jade Helm drill to be ready for the asteroid hitting Earth? Actually, there was an interesting movie I just saw called Sirius via Netflix, and it talked about the military-industrial military-industrial complex, and basically they first, there is a whole system created to continue the military-industrial complex, and first they get us to go after other countries, then go after this nebulous term terrorists, then they're going to get us to go after asteroids, and then finally they would get us to go after aliens. All of this is an attempt to continue to build up the military-industrial complex and to get us to be accepting of the military-industrial complex, when really what we should be spending our time on is working toward peaceful solutions and working toward building up peaceful coexistence with us. Thank you for loving me, and it's okay to spend your life pursuing your dreams. That's what I would say. And so I believe that we should all pursue our dreams. My dream, and the way I've decided to spend my life, is to be dedicated to David, and for as long as we both shall live, even though I'm not legally married, I'm dedicated to David for life, and however David wants to spend his life is perfectly fine with me, and I appreciate him pursuing his dreams. So you say we won't have any choice except to submit to the government for medicine, and that's when you get microchipped. Well, you do not. I mean, if you can that's why it's very important to, I would say, take care of your body, eat healthy, and learn as much about your own medical issues as you can. You want me to help you push a bill through that will make it illegal to troll women on the internet? I think that trolling is protected under freedom of speech, Bagface. I think that would require a constitutional amendment, and if it's only to prevent you from trolling women, it would violate the 14th Amendment, which is to have, equal protection under the law. So maybe you might want to look at creating an amendment to prevent trolling of anyone on the internet. Do I have siblings? Yes, I do have siblings. Giraffe Brain, you can't wait to find a woman with some kind of mindset. That would be good. I believe there are Drag King. I believe the answer to your question is I know it's legal in Australia. It's not legal here in the United States, except maybe parts of Nevada. So I'm not really sure the answer to your question. So anyway, David has not attempted. How many marbles can David put in his mouth? He has not attempted to do anything like that. I don't think he will either, especially with David is not going to risk choking something like that. You thought of me when you saw a nice version of Shake It Off by Alex Boy. Awesome. I love that. I love the Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. Oh, I'll leave that America's Got Talent. Thank you, 8090. Will I wear brown eyeshadow? I am wearing brown eyeshadow. Okay. I'm not going to reveal the information about my siblings right now, so that's very good. You have two people here worth listening to, Mad Dog and Sunstar. Absolutely, I do like those chatters. They're wonderful, fantastic. You think it would be great if there was some sort of law preventing women who show everything being accused of being prostitutes or easy. Oh, okay. So women that expose themselves shouldn't be just accused. I don't think that should be necessarily a law. It should just be common sense, decency. Okay. Let's get to why we should support David, please. All right. So here at America's Third Party, what we believe in is we are socially liberal and fiscally conservative. So what I mean by socially liberal, we believe in actually helping the people, helping the constituents as much as we can. What do I mean by being fiscally conservative? We shouldn't be spending billions, trillions, quadrillions of money on just paying down our national debt and continuing the military-industrial complex, like I said earlier. So there's so much money that's going out into building up all these military armaments. Meanwhile, there are people that don't have housing, that don't have enough food to eat, and so a constituent, I'll spell it for you. Constituent is CONSTITUENT, and a constituent is someone who is represented by an elected official. So you have the people, the representatives in the House and the senators in the Senate, and all of the people that they represent are called constituents. Okay, so answer to that question. Please do bring up any question if you're not sure what I'm saying, and I'll be happy to advise on that. David and I already will never have any kind of falling out that would require me to be fired as vice president. However, I am open to David having a different running mate than myself, especially because if David did have a different running mate than myself, I would become more like maybe chief of staff or supporter behind the scenes, which in some ways I'm more I'm more comfortable in that role a little bit, but I would be great as vice president, meaning if something were to happen to David, I could step in the shoes and be the president of the United States with I have a calm head. Well, 696 says I could not be first lady if I'm not married. Legally, the thing is that yes, Sheriff John Brown, I could just be first lady and do humanitarian work. And I would say, as far as the term first lady was actually created by the people, so people could just call me Sarah. They don't have to call me first lady or anything like that. I did not say that, 8090. I would like to invite you to help David get on the ballot. Now I want to move back to what I said earlier. We are socially liberal, fiscally conservative. And I said earlier that I don't want the government to be spending a lot of money. Fiscally means relating to money, and conservative is, holding on to those purse strings. So conservative is someone that doesn't, that's what I would say. Now, so we don't want the government to be spending a whole lot of money, but we do believe in the government helping the American people, the constituents. Now, with that, with being socially liberal, so we believe in getting back to a baseline plus society. And that means, I believe, and I'm sure David supports me in this, is that there should be a baseline for the American people. U.S. citizens pay Americans first, but there should be a baseline that then people can work beyond that baseline. I'm going to read guest 9909 says, Sarah, who do you think is going to help the Americans when the troops move in? Do you think Dave, being a president, be able to stop Helms 15 when the president, like Obama, is a puppet for the New World Order? I do believe that that's exactly why we need a president like David John Sponheim, because David would not be a puppet for the New World Order. David is not a person that will tolerate being told what to do. David will say, he is the president, the buck stops with him, and he will direct the country in the direction that is best for the nation, not in the direction of any kind of elite Illuminati New World Order type issue. Sheriff John Brown asks, if you get elected, put us back on the gold standard, no poor printing worthless money. Our entire monetary system, I highly recommend a movie for all of you. It's called Zeitgeist. I recommend the first half of it, not necessarily the second half, but you can watch all of it if you'd like. Zeitgeist Addendum is also very good. But with Zeitgeist, it really opened my mind to the fact that our entire monetary system is based on what they call a fractional reserve banking. And with fractional reserve banking and with the Federal Reserve Bank that's not connected to the government, other than the president saying who they want to run it, but it's not connected to the government in any way, it's just taking our entire monetary system and put a stranglehold on it. That's what I would say. David does have a great chance of being president, especially if you can step up and help him get on the ballot. Ending the Fed would definitely help, and putting the money, the power of the money, back into the Congress, which it originally was, and that we can do with printing up coinage, which was in the Constitution. The movie I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if it was on Netflix or not, but I know it is on YouTube, and it's called Zeitgeist. Sean, I'm going to purge you for now. This is your warning that what you say had no relation to politics or current events, and so I'm not going to. And if I'll purge you one more time, and if you continue to ask those types of questions, you will be banned. Okay, the word says McDonald's food is junk and yet it's addictive, full of weird chemicals that attract humans like moths to a light bulb. They could just sell fries and pump it full of their chemicals. It's just unbelievable. Thank you, Iodizer. Yes, Zeitgeist is a free movie. There are numerous remakes and edits of it. I have no idea what your question is, Drag King, or how it relates. Why would you be asking for money, Black Wamba, if you're against what is... I mean, if you're against the New World Order, which is all about money. Thank you, Sean. So you should be encouraging David. This party is about David. Do I agree with the ruling on gay marriage being legal across all states? Well, some states have, Mississippi in particular, has done an interesting job because they have decided to not issue any marriage licenses for anyone, whether you're homosexual or heterosexual. They've taken a step, I believe, in the right direction, which is to get government out of people's personal relationships.
And their spiritual life.
And their spiritual life, yes.
It's a breach of separation of church and state.
Hello,
is
Hammer.
what it is. Hi, Sarah.
All right. I'm
right.
going to switch places with
Thank
you. Is that
yeah.
cool?
That's fine, yeah.
I don't know if you found that other one, but that's all good.
Found another one. I
That
found
magnetic one?
Oh, everything we needed, yeah. I'm getting it all set.
Good.
Okay, great. Hang on just a second, I want to talk to Sarah.
All right, cool.
All right, thank you for coming in, everybody. We do the background with a green screen, and the green screen has got the ability to, provide us, whatever we want in terms of background. If we want green screen, you'd see the green screen I have back here, like that. It's actually a full-on green screen we have. I paid for a professional setup here. Thank you, Evil Enmity. It's ecologically green. We've got actually a very low energy input here.
Did you need a coffee or anything?
I'm okay. I've got the rest of the coffee from earlier.
Okay. I'll call me when you need a break.
No problem. I don't hate you. I'm a Pisces. A lot of us may differ on a lot of political issues, but we do come together on a simple plan to get accountability from Washington and spearhead a brand new plan to find common ground, between the Democrats and Republicans. Obama didn't do a very good job talking to the Republicans on issues of fiscal conservancy. He spent more than Bush, 2-to-1, in some cases 3-to-1. Dave, you won me over and I'm voting for you. Just have to question if you don't mind. We demand that we terminate or renegotiate our free trade agreements that actually are cover for outsourcing good American jobs and insourcing so-called guest workers to take jobs away from Americans. Yes, I'm putting the kibosh on all trade agreements, NAFTA, CAFTA, and this new Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPIP as they call it in Europe. You support Planned Parenthood. Well, here's one area where Planned Parenthood, we have a common ground we can work with. Planned Parenthood currently gets federal funding for abortions. I personally don't want Planned Parenthood to get federal funding for abortions unless there's a rape involved. I would rather focus more on preventative measures like condoms, prophylactics, preventing unwanted pregnancies. But Planned Parenthood is not something we want to encourage women to use. Would rather they had a baby. And I'd rather have a robust orphanage system, a modern orphanage system that's very, very modern, up to date, so kids have a sense of place and property, ownership. and connected directly to the Big Brother, Big Sister organizations, so that there is little chance for abuse like we have right now with all the foster care parents. That many of them are good, but there are a lot of pedophiles out there posing as foster care parents, and I was talking about that earlier. The worst president before Obama? Wow, that's a tough one. I'm going to have to say Bill Clinton. And I voted for him, so. Oh, yeah. Before him, LBJ. Sure. He was useless. Completely useless. In fact, he may have known about JFK's assassination. The truth is, JFK and his death marks the beginning of an era of our nation where we're being run by thugs, mobsters. And if I'm going to run sincerely and lead this nation, I can't become a mobster or a thug or work for them. I liked Andrew Jackson and his strong defiance of a central bank. I respected Andrew Jackson and his effort to not have a central bank. And here we have Andrew Jackson on the cover of a $20 bill. On the face of a $20 bill. I mean, he never wanted a national central bank. And here we have the Federal Reserve, which isn't even a government agency. It's a private group of bankers who are monitoring and controlling our currency and issuing debt notes. I mean, this whole thing is out of control. Jimmy Carter was a good man. I don't know how. What did Jimmy Carter do? He set a 55-mile-per-hour speed limit. What else did he do? Can anyone name one great achievement? Oh, yes. Camp David Accord. Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat, 1980, finally shook hands. But that's the problem. You see, Barack Obama is now trying to put a feather in his hat, along with John Kerry, at the expense of the American people and perhaps the safety of the world, by giving Iran a nuclear weapon. In 1 year and 1 day, they'll have a nuclear weapon, which is absolutely insane. And we give them $50 billion, completely remove economic sanctions, and we have no control over their weapons program. It's just unheard of. This was more of a case of America bending over, grabbing its ankles, and greasing up. This is not a negotiation. This was a complete give-in to Iran. Completely. We need that money. I know. Our president is literally throwing away the last vestiges of this great nation and giving it to a terrorist nation, Iran. It's crazy. You're seeing gray hair? I don't see any gray hairs. And I don't see a receding hairline either. So you're going to be banned. Nope, that's just a lie. Cheaper oil is not necessarily the deal. We're already seeing a world oil glut. This is going to destabilize the oil markets, the Gulf states. We're going to see the Gulf countries that are producing oil right now are not going to be able to refine it at a good enough price, so refining oil is going to shut down. You people don't know this, but this agreement is going to open the door to Pandora's box, and you will see oil shortages in the next 2 years. But don't mind me. I'm just the message. When all this starts to hit the fan, folks, a lot of you are going to say, wow, David was right. Right now, they don't have anything to do with our oil, but they will once the economic sanctions are dropped. Think about it, guest 6602. Well, look, I'm 55 years old. You'd have some gray hairs too if you were my age. There's a few gray hairs right here, yeah. It's normal. Come on, with the death to America crap, that's just purging time. You got to understand, we are a great nation, and the people here deserve better than Barack Obama. Yeah, the HARP drought, exactly. The CIA is issuing a narrative that'll weaken our nation. Illegal immigration, an alien nation, hell, an Obama nation. We've got the worst situation here. It's the perfect storm for our country to fall. And that's exactly what Barack Obama is orchestrating. The fall of America. Now, I'm here to pick us up. I'm here to build us up. But I need your support. And I need you to understand that This isn't some personal thing for me. I'm not doing this for me personally. I'm doing this because our nation is in dire need of an honest politician who can lead this nation out of this hellhole we're entering. You think it's bad now, driving around your borrowed cars on credit? Most of the cars right now are on credit. Oh, it looks great. Everyone's driving new Hyundais, made in Korea. No, all of my policies are moving forward because not one of my policies has been implemented by the two parties. So every one of my policies, including hybrid capitalism, is very relevant to 2020. That's right. Abomination. Alienation. Our nation is suffering from alienation, and this is an abomination. Zombie nation. You know, for you to stand around protecting a country with 9 missile factories, pumping out more missiles than you could even imagine, is absurd. Why would Iran have 9 missile factories and not one refinery to refine oil when oil is their #1 export? Why don't you think about that, giraffe brain, and get back to me, okay? Hey, anybody who wants to have relations with some beautiful woman online, you're in the wrong room. This is a political chat room. No, not true. A third party would only pull Democrats away from Hillary Clinton. And I'm purging you, Patriot Jaybird, because that's bull crap what you just said. At this point, we need to split the vote. I'm asking the voters of America to start thinking, not doing what they're told, what the mainstream media wants them to do. Believe me, if you vote for Hillary or Jeb or Trump, you're going to get the same old crap you had every single generation, where you don't get a dime, and all the corporate Wall Street welfare collectors are going to collect much of your tax dollars. So you need to split the vote. Split the vote. And believe me, we are pulling Democrats. I sold so many Democrats last night on my party, I can't even tell you. We are pulling Democrats because I want to stop GMOs. Thank you, Oma. I will stop GMOs. I will. I will end fluoridation in our water. There is no reason why we would be poisoning our water in our municipal water system. I will legalize pot. I will stop foreign wars. How could you not see the light? I mean, my God. I'm giving all of this to you. I will begin to end the Fed. I'll end the feed. I'll end the Fed. I'll work on a plan to do that. Cocaine we can't legalize, no, not at this point. But I'll tell you this, if 2/3 of this country want to legalize all drugs, I'm open to that. I will end gays from forcing sexuality on you. That's right. We'll implement all kinds of sexual harassment laws against gays. Anybody staring at your ass, if you have a photograph of them staring at your ass, you can actually prosecute them. Yeah. Isn't that nice? Take a selfie with somebody staring at your ass, we'll take his picture and we'll have him arrested. Staring at your ass will become illegal. Somebody said, David, you know, why would anyone want to stare at your ass? I said, well, have you ever seen my ass? That's right. Sexual harassment should be taken seriously. Don't kid yourself. I've been sexually harassed all my life. It's not fun. Thanks, Oma. Well, then if you stare at their ass, you just can't go, hi there, how are you? What's your name? You know, apparently we can't keep people from staring, but we can keep people from harassing. Okay? So if you feel harassed, you could file a complaint. How's that? Is that better? All right, let's move on to some issues like the water we drink and how polluted it is, the air we breathe and all the chemtrails. Oh, did I tell you I was going to stop chemtrails too? Thank you. I mean, this is a no-brainer, folks. Our country is slipping down the toilet. And it's just a question of time before we're all being carted out of our houses and rounded up to sent to the FEMA camps. Well, look at the Constitution. The criteria to run for president is you have to be 35 or older, a U.S. citizen, a natural-born citizen, unlike Obama, who was born in Kenya, and then lied about it. You have to actually have lived in the United States for 14 consecutive years, unlike Jesse Ventura, who's been living in Mexico for the past 5 years surfing. I know, I'm really looking to get assassinated from all these positive changes I'm making. Exactly. Well, you know, if they assassinate me, it's not the worst thing that can happen to the country, because I will have had a chance to actually share these ideas with you, and they will be like seeds that will change the nation eventually. It's more than just what I'm doing. A producer wanted to do some terrible things. He said you'd be on his show if you slept with him. Are you serious? That happens a lot. Let me share a personal story with you. It sounds like you have it in writing. Yeah, you could definitely charge him with sexual harassment. Yes, Oma, absolutely. I worked for a producer in L.A. for free, and it's just unbelievable, the thing he did. He actually had me contact Billboard magazine and set up a casting call for a show he claimed he was doing. Yeah, I've done a lot of work. I don't want to get into the details. But I worked for free for this guy with the intent that he would train me on his Grass Valley switcher, and he didn't. That he would give me a certain place as a producer in his company, which he didn't. But I had a casting call for actors to be in a supposed show in the area that I was in. And I even had a script and everything, and we worked it all out. And when all was said and done, I'd interviewed about 30 women and maybe 30 men. And in the end, I said, so are you ready to go? Let's go ahead and hire the best possible person. And he said, oh, no, this was just a big thing. I just did it to get laid. I said, what? This fat Chinese heroin addict said to me that he did it just to get laid. Can you imagine? Yeah, he got laid by two of the most beautiful women in the cast. Yeah. It was unbelievable. Fat Chinese heroin addict. Two women. Yeah. It happens all the time. I was duped. The women were duped. I felt terrible. I couldn't believe that this man had put a casting call together and sat through the whole thing just to get laid. You can do whatever you want. This is a nation dedicated to free speech. The truth is, I did not flunk out of anything. I left in good standing as an honors student from UCLA. Yeah. I was confronted by Marxism. In 1978, I was confronted by Marxism in my school, and they completely denied that they were teaching Marx, so I took it to the department head, and he finally told me, he said, oh yes, they have every right to teach Marxism in their class. You can't stop them. I said, they're not just teaching Marxism, they're converting people to communism. That's okay. So I said, well, you know, this is my chosen area, political science. I really wanted to get an education. I didn't want to get indoctrinated into Marxism. So I am going to have to step out and leave this beautiful school in good standing as an honor student and tell you all to stick it up your ass. Okay? And that's exactly what I did. It's not taking off. No, it's not. In fact, communism is a dead form of economics. Communism and socialism are both dead. They've completely collapsed. Every single form of economics, from capitalism to socialism to communism, has been plagued by greed. Greed is the inherent problem in all of these forms of economics. So I came up with a plan to bypass greed and form a mechanism where the government can run on its own efficient engine of business. I created hybrid capitalism with Sarah Hart, and we wrote this book, And we really believe that it will solve America's problems. It'll make it run like a lean, mean, efficient machine. Do I know about economies? I've studied all kinds of forms of economics. And I can tell you the most valid form of economics now is hybrid capitalism. It will make this country run without siphoning off your tax dollars. Unlike this communist trend of literally stealing money and private property from individuals, depleting them of any chance of personal gain, and then taking it all and putting it in a collective and then having the Politburo suck all that money right out of the system. That's what communism does. It creates greedy pockets of collective wealth. Look at the people that worked on the inner circle of Mao Zedong's communist revolution. They're all dead now, but their children happen to be the rich industrialists in China now. You see where I'm going? You're watching me on my website? Cool. Thank you. Well, I assume you are. Well, I'm certain that it will not breed greed because the mechanism of hybrid capitalism always downsizes if it gets too big. If the government operation gets too large, it parses itself out and sells itself to lower concerns, not mega corporations, mind you, but startups. And not even venture capitalists, we're talking startups. So if we start a generic pharmaceutical business, or even partner with a generic pharmaceutical business to offer you an alternative to buying expensive blood pressure medication. Say you're 75 years old and you don't have any medication to stay alive. Well, we'll make you 30 pills for 20 bucks, whereas Big Pharma will make you 30 pills for 180 bucks. You would not normally buy a $180 blood pressure life-saving medication, but you will pay 20. So we have an opportunity to make money on that industry. And when it makes enough money back, we give the profits back to you, the taxpayer, lowering your taxes, you see. Of course, I won't stay in Washington State if I'm elected. Of course not. I'll be living at the Washington, D.C., at the White House. Well, good. Then are you buying generic blood pressure medication for 10 bucks a month? That's great. That's a system that doesn't need fixing. You're happy. You see, the private health insurance industry and the big pharma industry will not be affected by hybrid capitalism. We're merely filling a void where people are not taking care of themselves because they can't afford expensive medication. There's a drug right now that's $2,200 a pill that battles a thing called Hep C. In my nation, where I'm the leader, that big pharmaceutical company will be required to turn that into a generic product. And if they don't, they will certainly watch us do it. And we will make that $2,200 pill available for $3.95. Okay? I'm not Jewish. I'm a person who has Norwegian ancestry, but I was born in America. Thank you, Political Love. I love that name. That's very cool. Well, this is the deal. 45% of all the R&D dollars that the big pharmaceutical companies get comes from your tax dollars. And guess what they made with your big pharmaceutical money? Viagra and Cialis. And then they were asked, well, could we make generic ones? And they said, no. It's our proprietary Viagra and our proprietary Cialis. You can't have it. So they took our money, our tax dollars, to make Viagra and Cialis, and then they own it. And they can't license it out for generic production. I've never taken Viagra or Cialis, so I don't know what you're talking about. But I can tell you that people are swearing by it. They wouldn't even have a sex life if they didn't have it. Cialis. Is she some girl on the internet? Some woman on the internet? David, why do you support the genocide on Palestinians but grieve over the Holocaust? You know, I don't support the genocide on Palestinians, so I differ with you completely. I actually am offended by the way that Israel has been cleaning house in the Gaza Strip. I actually have a solution for the Gaza Strip, which will provide an economy for the fledgling Palestinian state that's coming. It's called an ocean pipeline. Isn't that wonderful? Let me get rid of some things here. The Ocean Pipeline project you can see at oceanpipeline.com. But what it involves is producing desalination modules, massive plastic module production. And we can use the oil industry to do this. But what we're going to do is provide fresh water in the nation state, or any state, Israel being one of them, that wants them. And we'll produce a tremendous amount of fresh water this way. And it doesn't require any fossil fuels to generate fresh water this way. We can do this in California, along the California coastline. We anticipate producing 250,000 gallons of fresh water initially per day. It's a very good set goal, 250,000 gallons per day. But this is a string of these modules. These are fairly small. They're easy to carry on rail or freight. We could get these things constructed rather quickly. Within 6 months, we can build an entire pipeline and have enough fresh water to supply all the cities along the California coastline. Thank you. And the people in Gaza Strip can have all the water they need. Right now, they get very brackish water, and they don't have enough water, so they can't create enough food. And their economy sucks. And the Palestinian people are suffering because they really can't find any niche in which they can exploit and start to develop growth. Israel has been a very strong supporter of aid to the Gaza Strip, but they've also engaged in some cleaning of the population. They literally have attacked Palestinians in order to keep them from developing Scud missiles to strike Tel Aviv. So every 2 years or so, 1,000 people end up dying. Many of them Hamas, many of them are part of the jihadist Islamic State. Many of them are just, innocent people being caught in the crossfire. So yeah, I'm very concerned about it. I really am. But this idea is a good idea. Yes, it will. It will support California. In fact, we can build parallel pipelines, a grid of pipelines that will produce upwards of 1 million gallons a day. There won't be any pigeons to get in. The pipelines are sealed units, and they'll be protected with a fencing as well. We'll be fencing around them, and anyone crossing the line will be crossing over laser sensors, and we'll be able to target anybody who tries to break into the pipeline. If this was a very famous actor trying to tap into the pipeline's water source, we would know it. No, this is not written by an 8-year-old. This is a very simple design which was developed in a program called SketchUp. Thank you. And it really doesn't matter at this point how complicated the design is, because the technology is so simple. It's easy to convey. I'm not going to disagree with the idea that we need more water, but let me say this, and the truth is, if all of the ideas of zero-point energy had not been suppressed by our government over the past 150 years, we would be producing water generated from electric distilleries, because there's enough electricity from zero-point energy for free electricity to finance all the water in the world. I mean, we could fill up Lake Mead with all the water we could create with distilleries. If we could just get the petrol oil lobby out of our government and out of our economy, we could start electrically distilling water instantly, and we would have more than enough water for Vegas, Phoenix, Flagstaff, Tucson, El Paso, you name it. Zero-point energy. And if you want to know about zero-point energy, I recommend you go to a group called the Thrive Movement. Very cool site, extremely well developed. And they will give you a full detail on the entire plan of zero-point energy. There's a lot of people working in a good area in this area. Zero-point energy is easily achieved, but the government's been hiding it from everybody, purposely giving petrol companies, oil companies advantage to make money on you. Well, I'm a Pisces. You may not like California. I grew up in California. 35 years I was there. But I can tell you that California is being mismanaged horribly by this imbecile, Jerry Brown. He's an absolute imbecile. And last week, He issued the governor issued a ordinance requiring people to give their kids full vaccinations. I mean, it's insane, the communist threat we have from the Democratic Party. The peace deal with Iran is a disaster. It's giving a known terrorist nation a nuclear weapon within 1 year and 1 day. And I can tell you simply, we don't have $50 billion to give them. It's unbelievable that this is even moving forward. I would expect the Senate to kill it. I expect the House to kill it. It's got to stop, because we cannot allow a terrorist nation to have a nuclear weapon. Our president has turned out to be the biggest turncoat in the history of our country. He's turned his back on the American people, and he's thrown us under the bus, and he may very well have triggered the potential for nuclear war. I want all of you to imagine a pipeline that is parallel to another pipeline across a large area. Desalinating chambers everywhere, almost like a bathhouse of desalination. Pumping out fresh water left and right, more than we'd ever need. Creating lakes full of fresh water. Seeing communities grow around the pipeline. Building so much water that there would never be a question of, do we have enough room for people to move in? The idea of limits to growth is fictitious once you open up the truth about zero-point energy. Our world could handle 10 billion people, no problem. You know that if we gave acreage to every American in this country, every American citizen who was given acreage, we have enough land in this country to give every one of you 5 acres. We could even give you enough land in Texas if we could give you that. Not that we will. But if every American wanted some property, we could give you an acre of land in Texas and run a pipeline right into Texas and make it all work. Fresh water, food, the works, electricity, you name it. Ted Cruz is an immigrant. That's right. Democrats are communists. They are so far to the left now that they are leaning right into the communist corner. And the Democratic Party has turned its back on the homeless, on the environment, on big corporate money like Wall Street executives that are in bed with Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. If you're a Democrat like I was for 30 years, you've got to be awakening now to the reality they're bought off. If you haven't awoken, you're sick. I have never tried that particular burrito. I'm not going to take your land in Texas. I'm giving you an idea. I would never break up the property in Texas and give everybody an acre. I'm telling you that there's plenty of land for all of us. Don't buy the lie that the communists are pushing, that there's limits to growth. Ted Cruz is, he's completely owned. He's completely owned. Many people believe he's a secret agent for the Russian government. Well, the sequester already had to cut funding. The Republican sequester was required to cut funding. Barack Obama was spending 3-to-1 what Bush was spending. The Democrats never ask any big questions. For instance, our country sent 68,000 more troops into Afghanistan from our President Obama, who claimed to be against the war. So what does he do? The first thing he does, he sends 68,000 troops into Afghanistan. Well, guess what? The production of heroin has increased 50% since Obama became president. You can buy a cheap bag of heroin so quickly you could overdose on it, and many kids are doing that. Just that, right now. Kids across the country are overdosing on cheap heroin. I just can't believe that this is happening. And not one Democrat asked the question, why are you supporting warlords in Afghanistan, Mr. Obama? Look at the stats on opium cultivation from 1994 to 2013. Look at how they're continually rising. In fact, 2014 is 17% higher. It's up here around, like right here. And all that opium, all that heroin is going into the streets of America, being sold for $10 a dime bag. People like Philip Seymour Hoffman overdosed, the actor. They said he went out and got $5,000 and bought 500 dime bags of heroin. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take you and remove you from the show because you don't have any purpose here. Thank you. And I'm not a liar. Everything I'm telling you is true. And I'm even citing stats. The reason why you think I'm a liar is because you're a brain-dead idiot that voted for Barack Obama and can't believe what I'm saying. Well, I don't know if Philip Seymour Hoffman sounds like that. He's dead now. Dead men don't talk. He got reelected because they controlled the weather. They created an unbelievable thing with HARP. I know this sounds really bizarre, but over 100 people died to get Barack Obama elected. When the Hurricane Sandy occurred, it came out of nowhere. I've tracked it. I've done videos on it. I showed you how NOAA completely got taken hoodwinked by the whole thing. They didn't even know what was happening. But basically, they implemented a strategy with HARP, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, and they triangulated a signal to turn Hurricane Sandy into the only hurricane in that entire region, historically, that decided to go into oncoming wind. Not one single hurricane in the history of that region ever went into oncoming wind except Hurricane Sandy. And then right after that, oh, Chris Christie, oh, good job, Barack Obama, thank you. A Republican endorsing Barack Obama. Michael Bloomberg, New York mayor. Oh, thank you so much. You're helping so much, Barack Obama. Next day, Barack Obama's elected. They controlled that entire election. Plus, they used all kinds of means to do it. They kept me out of the election. They kept me out of all mainstream media. And they've kept me out of mainstream media successfully, denying me any time whatsoever. I've had zero time in the mainstream media for the past 7 years. That's a nation that is completely censored. And that's the most desperately screwed up nation ever. A nation that claims to be free and democratic and completely controlled. Our nation is literally like the Soviet propaganda machine that Stalin was running. They're just doing it at a higher level. They're controlling all access points. And all the Democrats stole my signs. 90% of my signs were stolen by these scumbags. These are the worst possible people, clinging to power and willing to cheat to do it, and even undermining the democratic process. They're scumbags, that's right. And if you're still a Democrat, in your mind, if you're still a Democrat and still clinging to the belief that maybe Hillary's going to help, I need to remind you that Hillary could care less about you. She is a known liar. I have more than ample information to validate this. Let me bring up a little quote from one of Hillary's cohorts in the 1970s. It's fascinating. It'll be very interesting to see this. I just can't get over how many lies she's able to commit. Even the emails regarding Benghazi, not one single email is there. Not one single email talking about Benghazi. But look at the talking points here. I mean, these things you don't see in the mainstream media. As a 27-year-old staff attorney for the House Judiciary Committee during the Watergate investigation, Hillary Rodham was fired by her supervisor. When asked why Hillary was fired, he said in an interview she was a liar. She's an unethical, dishonest lawyer who conspired to violate the Constitution, the rules of the House, the rules of the committee, and the rules of confidentiality. I'm not a violent man. I am, in fact, dedicated completely to nonviolence. I've dedicated my entire life to nonviolence. At great loss of my own. I've been beaten up defending nonviolence. You got a new remix? All right.
Oh, baby, I like it loud.
Jesse Millay remixed. Alright. Mr. Anderson. It's that time? Is it really? Is it Mr. Anderson time? Okay, let me remove the pipeline. Wouldn't you guys like to see how Barack Obama is sending the enemy of Iraq funding and support? I think it's important to listen to this. A couple days ago, this is what the president said.
Was moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
Problem is, ISIL forces are attacking Iraq and the Iraqi government that we installed. So he's supporting ISIL forces to take down the existing Iraqi government. Do you even know what I'm talking about? Well, he had a lot of backpedaling to do after that little statement. And people in the press were going, what? What do you mean you're supporting ISIL forces? Those are our enemies. Yeah, spray them with water guns. Look, I'd love to talk about my agenda. But unless you wake up to the fact that these people are criminal in nature, and get up off the ground and do something and build this third party, unless you recognize the two parties are corrupt. Okay, I'm going to get up off the floor and read this for you. This is what Hillary Clinton said. All of you people who still support Hillary, I want you to know that I don't support RFID chipping. At the rate that technology is advancing, people will be implanting chips in our children to advertise directly into their brains and tell them what kind of products to buy. This is not taken out of context. This is a quote Hillary Clinton is planning on implementing. Hillary Clinton is the New World Order's chosen pick. If you want to stop the New World Order, you're going to need to prevent Hillary Clinton from getting elected. Okay? Period. That's the deal. The stats on Vaughn are not working. I'm about ready to write Mark Vaughn a letter because our number of visitor counts have actually gone down by 200 or 20 or 30,000 recently. Yeah. The number of visitors to the site, the counter isn't working. It's the same as it was. In fact, it's less than it was 6 months ago. So all the numbers and metrics you're reading are just not true. David, would it be surprise you that Snopes might be on the White House payroll? It wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm a Pisces. Thank you, Oma. I can tell you that Snopes is a product of the Annenberg Foundation, which is a distinctly ultra-liberal foundation. And even factcheck.org and Snopes are both working for the Annenberg Foundation. Completely biased. All I can tell you is my viewers are not going down, they're going up, and all the metrics you're seeing all over the place are lies, flat out lies. I have done nothing wrong. I continue to fight for this constant effort to create a third party. I have never given up. You're looking at a person who doesn't have the word giving up in his vocabulary. I will be working for this third party's goal for the rest of my life. They work for the Annenberg Foundation. Yeah, you can probably find them online. It's a fact. Can't stop when it won't stop. Okay. Bottom line, guys, if you don't start supporting a third party, you can blame yourself for everything that's coming. Okay? That's the bottom line. You know, I don't support the idea of marriage being... You hear that? That's the sound of ear damage. Fractured kidneys and livers. and strokes. Lots of people in my area are going to be getting strokes. That's an F-18 Growler, yeah. A lot of people in my area are going to get strokes at a young age, and fractured livers and kidneys, and ear damage. A lot of the people in our area can't even hear anything. I was telling this, do you support the jets? I was saying this to somebody. Do you support the jets? He said, what? What do you say, man? Do you support jets flying overhead? Huh? What? I can't hear you. Hell yeah! Jets equal freedom, man. Hell yeah. So yeah. We're moving toward UAV technology, but they're still flying big buckets of metal that burn 3,000 gallons of gas every day. Yeah, it's $10,000 for one of those to fly over my house. Those are your tax dollars going to good use. Two of the guys that trained over my house about 8 months ago, or I'm going to say a year ago, ended up crashing on top of the Carl Vinson. 2 F-18s downed. 1 died. Yeah, they don't even know what they're doing. I see them flying in tandem all the time, 10 feet apart, just like those Blue Angels that crashed and put one in the ground. It's crazy. They don't even know what they're doing. They're completely out of their mind. And you know the F-35, over the lifetime of its project, will cost $1.5 trillion, equivalent to the Iraq War. Yeah. And it doesn't even beat the F-16 in 2 critical areas of air combat. And a much older plane, the F-16, beats it in all those areas. And guess what else? I heard from one of our viewers last night. They made the F-35 so improperly that the pilots cannot even turn their head when they're in the cockpit. Their head is so strapped in they can't even turn it. Can you imagine being like in a floating coffin flying at God knows how many Mach 2 and being unable to maneuver? I mean, it's almost like suicide. No, they're not tormenting me. They're just trying to do what their commanders are telling them to do. A lot of the people in the Navy are just trying to be, they're trying to get their pension checks, flat out. I hear all around me Navy guys trying to collect disability. It's like, I gotta leave here, and he's like 40 years old. I gotta get my disability check. Oh, I know everything about planes. Yeah, you're out of here. The F-35 is failing on every measure. Let me tell you something else. They recently got a Boeing contract, which Patty Murray put together. Guess this. The Boeing lost all of the contract bidding wars with Airbus on this contract, the Airbus contract of the P-8 Poseidon Airbus contract. They lost it initially to Airbus on all 6 points. Okay? Patty Murray gets involved, and all of a sudden, they won it on all 6 points. Every single point, they won the contract. Boeing gets the contract. Now they're bringing, I think, 16 P-8 Poseidons out here. They got 18 F-18s flying over my head because Patty Murray wanted it. She wanted it for Washington. It's jobs. It's all about jobs. Let's create weapons of mass destruction so that we can just have jobs. Is she a lesbian? I didn't know that. Really? Wow, you seem to know more about her than I do. But Patty Murray is pretty much Barack Obama's clown. She does whatever he says. But Barack Obama is a puppet, so it's not really something to worry about here. A clown represented by a puppet is not that big of a threat. Oh, Patty, where are you? Whenever I look for her, I can't find her in this menagerie of pictures I have here. There she is. She's staring right at me. She's Obama's Joker. Yeah. And guess what? She's helping me more than I can even imagine. She has been running around Congress bad-mouthing me. She is such an absolute soccer mom that she has no idea what she's doing. She's actually saying that I'm this terrible person and that I'm some horrible person. I'm not. I'm a good person. I've always been a good person. And she's running around bad-mouthing me, not realizing that I'm actually gaining support left and right because of her bad-mouthing. She and that woman that interviewed me in my front yard, she's running around town bad-mouthing me. This Lee Stoll woman. Well, I don't know what she is. She's clearly not a good senator. She's giving away all of our tax dollars to big industrial leaders like Boeing and Lockheed Martin so that, 25 Top Gun flyers can have a job and walk around strutting around going, "Hey, dude, what's going on, man?" I see them at Ace Hardware whenever I go in on Sunday because their day off is Sunday. And I walk in there and I see these Top Guns walking around going, "Yeah, what's going on?" They're always with these really good girlfriends that look half as good as Sarah, right? And they always have these perfect bodies. And they walk around acting like they own the freaking world. These are the guys that are up there flying these jets thinking they're hot crap, literally creating weapons of mass destruction, trying to destroy the world, and now we just gave a nuclear bomb to Iran? You people need to wake up. I can read this. I'm a very good person. I've always been a good person. Anyone who says anything other than that will be banned immediately from my room. I have two BB guns. I keep them right close by. One is a rapid fire BB gun. Yeah, what about the oil platforms in Seattle? Thank you. Yeah. They're hot crap, all right. Their crap doesn't stink, but their farts give them away. I know. Well, if you were more than awake than me, you wouldn't have to say that. So I'm going to ban you. I'm not a violent man. I'm dedicated to nonviolence. I've never done anything bad to anybody. That's right. If you don't agree with me, I ban you. That's right. You're out of here. What do you think? David, are you running under a third party? I am available right now. You can contact me at americasthirdparty.com. Okay? Well, I didn't shoot a squirrel. I didn't shoot anybody with my BB gun. I don't know Kung Fu. No, I don't. There is no such martial art as Kung Fu. There's Kung Fu, but not Kung Fu. Are you taking Paxil? That's just fluoride, you know. I didn't read what you said. David, I got this in the mail today. Prayer for America and its leaders. Really? I read that. You got prayer for America and its leaders? Well, exactly what do you mean? We're praying for America and its leaders. Yeah, I am. No, not katate. I practice karate, kung fu, hapkido, aikido, judo, and lots of other martial arts that all emanated from the Shaolin Temple. You remember the show Kung Fu? Oh, grasshopper! Can you snatch the pebble from my hand? No, master. Yes, master. Hapkido. Let's talk about something important, like the fact that you're probably not going to get a job, okay? Because the programs out there are so costly you can't even afford to go to college. Look at, man, I was a Democrat for 30 years. I know where you guys are coming from. A lot of you are leaning in that direction, but many of you are Republican, and like Republicans, I'm a fiscal conservative as well. I can't marry you. Sorry. A donation would be nice. Bummer, dude. Hapkido. Yeah, you quit college from cost. I know. Tell me about it, man. I couldn't afford to go to college, and I was #1 student in my high school class of 770 students. I graduated in the top 98 percentile at SATs. No, I'd never hated my mother. I loved my mother dearly. Never hated her. I loved her dearly, and I don't have mother issues. How dare you come in here and attack my mother? That's really reaching low, dude. Actually, we got a fairly nice donation last week, but not a lot of donations, but we're hoping to get more because I have a brand new GoFundMe page. So this is how to get on our website, americasthirdparty.com. I'll turn it a little down for you. Is that better? How's that? Do you feel better now? It's down. David, see what Trump is doing? He's ruling out a third-party run. Good. I'm glad. He'll never win the Republican nomination. That opens the door for me. Cool. He isn't considering a third-party run, folks. Good. All right, thank you very much, Donald. That's all I needed to know. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. That's not you, Scissor Fight. Okay. All right, we dropped out of that then. Great. Thank you for that link. Now let's look at the car of the future again, and let's show you that the truth is our government will not allow Volkswagen to sell this car that gets 300 miles per gallon in the United States. They'd rather you just had same-sex marriage instead. Yeah. They don't want you to, actually save money. They just want you to get married and cost more money on life insurance and health insurance. Yeah, I know. 20,000 people lose their job every day in America. You're right. It's not good. Yeah, you can't have that car. But you can get married in the state of your choice to whatever you want. You see what's happening? It was a cool video. Oma has a cool video. This was just this past weekend. The Blue Angels were so close they blew the tents and umbrella away. Look at this. Whoa. Whoa, do you see that? Whoa. Let's see that again. That's like too close, dude. Whoa. That's crazy. All right, so obviously that guy needs a few more sit-ups, but hey, he's drinking beer, having a good time, nearly getting his head blown off by a jet flown by the Blue Angels. I think they have F-15s, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm not a DJ for private events, no. I'm not contracted out as a speaker either. I'm not like Hillary Clinton. I'm not in this for money. I'm in this to change the nation. Anybody who condemns what we're doing is obviously an imbecile and doesn't understand the importance of getting out of corporate politics. Somebody said, do you have any political experience? No, I'm not part of the cronies in government politics. I'm not part of that. I tried to get some political experience, but the Democrats and Republicans stole 90% of my signs. That was a water bottle? I thought it was a beer. Sorry. Oh, you get fined for open beers. Boy, you're really living in a free and democratic country where they steal my signs and they take your beer on the beach. Actually, I'm a winner, actually. I got on the ballot. You're just forgetting the fact that I got over 4,200 votes. You don't understand that. I speak only one language, honesty, in many different dialects. That was quite a video, Oma. You know, they crashed those things. The Blue Angels crashed, and they're still taking chances.
Honesty.
Honesty. Okay.
Honesty.
Here comes another F-18. Let's do this in Arabic.
Banana.
Banana. How about Bosnian?
Poštenje.
Poštenje. Let's do it in Chinese. Honesty.
诚实。
诚实.
诚实.
诚实. Let's see, honesty in yeah. Cantonese. Burmese. Let's see if that's different. No, they don't even have. There is no honesty in Burmese. Let's see what it sounds like in traditional
诚
Chinese.
实
Chenji. How about honesty in Icelandic?
Hei Mapleka.
Hey, lakeka. Interesting.
Hei Mapleka.
Honesty. That's a very complex word in Icelandic. Any other? What about Mongolian? Honesty. Any requests here? They don't even have a translation for audio in that. Spanish.
honestidad,
Honestidad. Honestidad. I speak honesty. Yeah. French? Want to do French? Okay. We could do that.
Honnêteté.
Honnêteté. Honnêteté.
Honnêteté.
Honnêteté. On the tit. Honnêteté. Bengali? They don't have a translation. What about Swahili? Honesty. Let's see Swahili. They got it.
Uaminifu.
Uaminifu. Uaminifu. You want to say boobies in Icelandic? Okay. Boobies. In Icelandic? That's a good one, huh? Okay, here we go.
Boobjes.
Boobjes. Okay, any other questions? Great, I think we're done here. Those of you who are aware are now going to talk about a third party to all your friends and family, and the rest of you are going to flush your head down the toilet. All right, great. Cool. Can we now talk about the truth about our president and Michelle, the transgender? Yeah, the truth about him. And that guy. Really? Bill Clinton tells Jeb Bush this Trump thing will be taken care of. Whoa. Logo graphics. Thank you. Wow. Remember that statement that LBJ said? That JFK wasn't going to get away with this? And that wasn't a promise? Or that wasn't a threat, that was a promise? Remember that? Wow. Thanks, Logo Graphics. I don't know what to think of that. That's a strange sight. Yeah, that's really weird. I'm just taking a look at this, and it's like, wow, let me put it on the screen. Bill Clinton tells Jeb Bush this Trump thing will be taken care of. Wow. That's kind of wild, isn't it? Just a few weeks earlier, GOP candidate Jeb Bush was sitting atop nearly every political presidential poll as he used his family name, media contacts, and a still formidable and long-standing Bush dynasty's fundraising machine to place himself as a prospective favorite among a growing list of White House hopefuls. Then Donald Trump arrived, and now Jeb Bush is quietly but urgently telling those around him that something must be done to diminish the sudden popularity of the New York billionaire. Wow. And by the way, Trump says he's ruling out a third party. Isn't that great? That's the best news I've heard yet, because I need this domain to help this country. He doesn't even understand the benefit of it. Look at that.
Wow, good.
Good. Thank you, Trump. You're making room for me. I appreciate that, because I don't want someone stepping on my toes when I'm trying to help this country. Thank you, Ron. Welcome to the show, Sarah. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
We're not going to talk about anything controversial right now. Sarah's in the room. I'm the guy who's controversial. Sarah's the person who is actually knows our party line, and you'll know that everything on our website has been honed to help the country, and we both agree on all of our platforms.
Yes,
Every one of them.
AmericasThirdParty.com/platform. You can read all about everything that we stand for.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain things that aren't on the web, aren't in there, but we do. Like for instance, we do believe in legalization of marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
So, and all right, some of the things that we we want to get back to the basics, and so with back to the basics, as I said earlier, it all starts with water, really.
Yeah, it does, really. The water idea is clearly a key to peace, too. You know, when you think about the fact that people in the Middle East have been fighting over water for centuries, that's one of the reasons why there's so much sectarian violence right now between all these people. Because obviously some people had water, other people didn't. So obviously if we bring water into the equation for world peace, it's a no-brainer. We're guaranteed world peace if we create unlimited sources of water.
The only way that David would allow Donald Trump into America's third party is if Trump asked David politely to be his vice president. Maybe he would consider it.
Yeah, and my third party supports legalization of marijuana and ending the Fed. And that's something Donald Trump would have to agree to.
Now, we do agree with a strong border.
Oh, absolutely. Donald Trump and I see eye to eye on certain immigration issues, but I don't ever generalize, and I never say that Mexicans are this, that, or the other thing. They're a trading country. We actually buy things from Mexico, and they've been trading with us for a long, long time. So I would never violate relations with the country that we trade with.
Now, 332 asks, Dave, what will you do about the rising cost of rent in the city? And that is where our housing issue comes in, our housing idea.
All right, the physics behind my pipeline not only work, but I've tested it, and I've proven that they work. As far as housing is concerned, we have a plan called the Homestead Renewal Plan, which is key to our country's survivability. Hang on, that was the pipeline. This is a job plan we have.
And also a housing plan that we have. And even though this shows a suburban house, the same idea can be applied into the city as well. And the idea is to take existing houses or existing housing that and actually rebuild that with the people that would like to live in that housing actually taking an active role in building that up. So people that would want to live in this housing would be able to learn how to do some basic carpentry and painting and basic maintenance of the facility that they could then move into at a reasonable cost.
Now these houses will initially sell for $50,000 a piece once they're refurbished, and the houses will offer a kind of a solar rooftop solution once we get that rolling, but initially the houses will just be basic houses. But $50,000 you'll be able to buy your own house in the Homestead Renewal Plan. If you have no investment interest, that's great, because we don't want investors or banks to buy these.
Now, one person asked Ace Penta, would you propose a capital gains tax? And no, we do not propose a capital gains tax. We do believe in a tax. It is a variable flat tax insofar as everyone over $100,000 would be paying 10% taxes.
Any U.S. citizen can buy these. Yeah, right now the capital gains tax is set up for $250,000 minimum. That's fine. We're going to leave it at that.
Now, also with these housing, is that I'm correct in saying this. So if I'm wrong, you can correct me. But the effort that you put into building up the house would go toward that payment as well. So if you don't have the financial funding, you can put in sweat equity toward living in these houses.
Yep. You can actually get points by working in the program, which will apply to your down payment. It's a great idea for housing, and we're going to fix up all the foreclosed houses that this country can buy at a discount.
Oh, that's a pretty cool car.
This is the XL1, the car that gets 300 miles per gallon.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a
Who
diesel.
makes it?
It's made by Volkswagen, and the U.S. government will not allow it sold in the U.S.
Wow.
This is a classic example of the tyranny that's going on here, how they're keeping high mileage vehicles from the American populace. Now, granted, we can't afford this, but I propose an idea to actually create a car that'll get 100 miles per gallon and cost around $15,000. And we can build this at the U.S. Auto Corporation. That's the goal. All right, so how do we get into the Oval Office in the future? Obviously, this is a plan to get two good people to lead this nation. Two people that are not going to be overrun by a bunch of corrupt corporations, are not prone to manipulation by materialistic pigs that are currently manipulating our president and others. You've got to ask yourself, do you want dishonest people like Hillary Clinton or Jeb Bush in the mix? Do you seriously want another Bush or another Clinton in the mix? They're not going to produce results, I assure you. They're going to be doing the same thing Obama did, and that's just giving tax breaks to the rich, continuing the lifestyle of the rich and famous, and ignoring the average person. I can't eliminate laws. I can actually put executive orders in place of laws and try to implement them. But as a president, the only thing I can do is work with the tools that I have as executive in chief. So we've orchestrated a plan, a platform, and a plan to build solutions for America's economy without asking Congress for help. I'm working with the existing budget, the existing organizations and departments within our country, downsizing the number of people in those departments, but providing more jobs for average people at the same time.
Well, Ace Penta, you do bring up an interesting point about the capital gains, and perhaps David would be willing to have some kind of limit on.
We can talk about it. Sure.
Capital gains.
We can put limits on capital gains, but again, $250,000.
Basically on inheritance.
Right, a $250,000 threshold for capital gains currently exists. So I really don't anticipate having to do anything more than that.
Well, and yeah.
But we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm not I have no aversion to talking about all these solutions. Yeah, I brought some new backgrounds in. Let me see if I've got a couple of here. Ooh, I found this one. It was pretty cool. It's a picture of some swimmers swimming among sharks. Isn't that funny?
Wow.
I did that once. It was not fun. Yeah. It's a pretty picture, isn't it?
That's awesome, BGDD. I'm hoping that I wish you a lot of luck.
Stan Myers did. He created a dune buggy that ran on water, and he died. He claimed he was poisoned. The American homegrown businesses haven't shut down. They're bigger than ever. They just manufacture abroad and close down manufacturing home. Interesting. Well, we want to incentivize people to work and build businesses in America making American products. So what I've developed is a concept that will do just that. It's called an infrastructure bank, and it will offer 2% loans to any U.S. business hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. This is a very interesting bypass to the existing minimum wage laws that are currently not agreed upon by the two parties, and it's an incentive for a lot of U.S. businesses to grow. Now, this will not be available to foreign companies.
No, that is not David and I on vacation. David would never be swimming with what looks like sharks.
I did swim with sharks at one time, and it was not fun.
With me.
No, I would never put Sarah in danger swimming with sharks. The sharks I swam with were about the size of the sharks, a little bit bigger than those sharks. They were 6 feet long, the sharks I swam with. Yeah, we will get foreign investment. So one of the things I'm going to talk to the Congress about as president is initiating a 10% flat fair tax. Now, this is a way to move past the 16th Amendment and the illegality of the 16th Amendment. It's designed to actually make a sensible tax plan for America that makes everyone agree. Now, 10% flat tax on income over $100,000. This is not a Rand Paul 7-7 plan. That's a joke. We have a graduated flat tax of 10% on everything over $100,000 income. So you get a $100,000 deduction, essentially. And if you make less than $100,000, you pay no flat tax. We will make fair tax money on any purchases, non-food purchases you make. Now, what this does is it invites foreign investment to come home. It tells companies like Burger King, who now have their offices in Amsterdam, to bring it home. There's no need to invest overseas because your profits from world profits are not going to be taxed more than 10%. No longer will they be paying 34% on overseas foreign investments. We'll be seeing a lot of rich people come back home and say, yeah, 10%, that's doable. The nice thing about the flat tax is it eliminates all these pages of tax code. There's like 70,000 pages of tax code. They would fill a doorway. That's how much tax code we have. So we will eliminate all that, simplify the tax system so a business pays 10% on everything over $100,000. A church would pay everything over 10% over $100,000. So if you can't run a church on $100,000, then you shouldn't be. obviously making a lot of money. At least you'll be paying 10% on everything you make above that money. Nonprofits like United Way will have to pay 10% on everything above $100,000. All these things are part of a plan to bring in more taxes from a broader base and be fair at the same time. The fair tax is a sales tax on non-food items, 10%. It's very simple. You know, a lot of the fair tax people have been saying, oh, well, the fair tax eliminates taxes so the companies are going to lower the price. Well, I keep it at 10% because I don't think the companies are going to lower prices. That's foolhardy to think that. They're just going to gouge 10% more on the price of your item, which is not that big of a deal. Okay? All of this is within a framework that does not destabilize the economy and moves forward to try to tweak the tax code so that it no longer is unfair, and it invites investment capital back into this country. I know. A lot of you are so incredibly afraid of Jade Helm that you're xenophobic about your fear. Who was it that said that? Oh, Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, the only thing you have to fear is fear itself.
Now, speaking of, there's a person in here, he calls himself Prophet Muhammad, and he's talking about all these jobs that are going overseas, and you've already talked about an ecological tariff and having companies that are overseas basically needing to comply with our environmental laws.
Yeah, in fact, we have a plan.
We might not be able to, control the wages of the workers, but we could have a tariff on any product that comes in from overseas if they do not comply with our ecological laws that we have in the U.S. Because oftentimes it's not only because they tend to send jobs overseas, not just because they have lower cost of employment, it's also because they have different ecological laws that are not as strict as we have here in the United States of America.
Right. So unlike our wonderful, obviously, Donald Trump suggested a 30% tariff on China. We're looking at 15% tariff on China or any other country that imports into our country if they don't comply with our ecological requirements. And these involve human rights as well as a cradle-to-grave processing in which the damage is not long-term to the environment. So what I'm going to ask any company that wants to avoid the 15%, we want an in-camera edited 15-minute tape which would automatically show us cradle-to-grave production all the way to the end, including where you plan on disposing of this product, like these fluorescent light bulbs that we now have, which we don't even need because we've got LED technology, which is less dangerous than the mercury that they put in the CFL bulbs, compact fluorescent bulbs from China. Where those bulbs are going to end up will be our landfills. And if we're going to allow this in the future, we're going to have to implement a strategy to use that 15% tariff to clean up our landfills. I haven't had any calls tonight for some reason. I'm not sure, but
I will, we can have more discussions about that Ace Penta, and you can feel free to send your suggestions to americasthirdparty@gmail.com.
Anyone who thinks what we're saying is ridiculous, they're looking at the solutions to our country's problems right here. And then they say it's ridiculous. So I ban them. Seriously. You can't just call great ideas ridiculous and expect me to keep you in the show.
Yeah, that's no problem. Okay, have a good night, Word.
You're going to be smoking crack? Well, good luck with that. That's very addictive.
I don't know what you're referring to when you talk about a video type idea.
We talk about a videotape of in-camera edited production so that a company who wants to try to qualify for an exemption on the 15% can send us the tape. We also want to see in that tape where their workers are living predominantly, a little taste of that, like 15 to 20 seconds of a typical domicile, another minute of the general direction and people travel to and from work. We just want an idea of the human rights conditions in the production of that product. That's all. The number is 707, your ATP. And I'm going to go get the phone while I take a little break and feed the fish. Sarah's going to talk to you. She's my chosen vice president for 2016, so you get a chance to talk to a real woman who could very well be president someday. All right. And we got an interesting video from Scissor Fight about Benghazi false flag media audit. Interesting. I'll take a look at that. It's 14 minutes. That'll be good to play at the end of our show. Thank you, Scissor Fight. All right. I got to feed the fish too. Okay, Schmeckel. We'll see you in a bit. Thank you so much, guys.
You can always try 7421.
You know, I'm going to ban you because you're calling me a dictator. There you go. Bye. You know, we're not a microcosm of a wide open, free and democratic world which you think you have, which you don't have. I have been censored from the mainstream media for the past 7 years. And if you want to come in here and demoralize our show, I will ban you. Focus on the issues. If you disagree on an issue, I won't ban you. But do not try to demoralize us or what we're doing or anything I'm doing.
Okay, logo graphics. I will look into that in a little while. All right. Fantastic. Yes, so the infrastructure bank loans, the 2% loans, would be given to people who would employ U.S. citizens. And then the ecological tariffs would be against any company that did not comply with U.S. ecological laws, like the EPA, as the same laws that we have in the United States of America, so that we can help the, and the ecological tariffs of 15% would help the world clean up their act, so that when they're actually creating something, they're not thinking about just creating it without the long-term implications of that creation. We are not the thing about deportation is that we would only be deporting people if they were in the country illegally. Yes, there are over 400 people running for presidents, and David's not debating right now because the people that have asked David to debate are not any of those people running for president. Now, I would say that when I talk about immigration and wanting to deport people who are here illegally, I do want to look at immigration reform. We want to look at immigration reform and make it somewhat easier for people to become legal citizens. Yeah, he's not debating people right now. Maybe if there was somebody running for president, then maybe he would debate them. Well, Pop-Tart Spammer, I agree there is a way in which to... What Pop-Tart Spammer asked, what happened to give me you're tired, you're poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free? And I would say there's a way in which to do that, a legal means in which to do that. I don't like the current immigration laws. I will say that because the current immigration laws favors people who have lots of money. No, these aren't the type of fish that eat off your feet. I suppose they would eat your feet, but they're sharks, so they would eat all kinds of things. Yes, I know there are more than 400 people running for president. 436 last I counted, but probably more than that. I'm not sure who had that quotation on the Statue of Liberty. I really like that, though. Totally Bogus said there's a movie called Freedom to Fascism. David plays that quite often after our show, and he said no one should pay income tax. It's voluntary, not mandatory. I encourage you all to watch that show, Freedom to Fascism. So people can choose to pay income tax if they would like. I haven't met any of the 400 202 other than David. No, I will not ban internet. Someone asked, will you ban internet porn filters? No. I believe that certain filters can be put into place to protect young people. I didn't think he was perma-banned. Yeah, that's weird. And 478 believes that flat tax is part of a government scam or part of a scam to keep certain people rich. You know, there was an interesting tax issue that was passed, a bipartisan tax issue, which is something that we can look into again. 8689, I encourage you to pursue your dream. No, I am not going to be spending my effort working on that 2022. Thank you. Yes, we will, Prophet, I guess. Some people believe that Jade Helm is coming tomorrow and that the military is going to plunder towns for the next 2 months. I hope that's not the case. I hope you guys continue to report what is going on in those towns. David, no, I was not part of that Pop-Tart spammer. That was pretty interesting, though, and I don't think it was UCLA. I think it was just LA. But no, I haven't forgotten where I come from. Now, David and I met originally online, actually. That's how we met. Alright, I'm just scanning the chat. That's interesting, abnormal. Yes. Well, the producer got to meet a lot of women from David's story. According to David's story. We would revoke any religions tax exemptions if there's already laws to revoke them if they interfere with politics. Wow, there's a whole lot of people. He's a good fit in your family. Your daughter met her husband online, then he's a good fit in her family. That's good. Oh, that is an excellent question. So there is a plant currently. The question is, what would you do with the salt and other residue that's left over after in your water desalination system? And so with the salt, the residue, the salts especially, we would use the salt in a concentrated solar plant. So there already is a concentrated solar plant in outside of Las Vegas in Nevada, and they use parabolic mirrors, and they use molten salt inside a tube that in the middle of their parabolic mirrors. So the mirrors actually are used to heat up the salt, and then the hot molten salt is used to generate electricity through the traditional steam generator. And so that's what we would use the salt for from our passive desalination system. We would use it for molten salt in a concentrated solar plant. Only if they become involved in politics. 478. You say the salt in the parabolic system is not continually produced. Then we can also use the molten salt. We can use it to heat it up super concentrated and then use it to actually build housing as well. Yes, some desalination plants already exist in coastal regions and on islands. A lot of the desalination plants that exist is, so 202, we would be adding new concentrated solar plants rather than just feeding them into existing concentrated solar plants. Now, yeah, we could give some of the salt to pretzel makers as well. Now, with the desalination plants that already exist in coastal regions and on islands, a lot of those use a huge amount of electricity, which is can be a problem. Yes, I do know what I'm doing with the salt, BF Gunner. I said we would be building new concentrated solar plants, and we would also be using them to build housing. Exactly. No, I'm not just throwing out some random ideas. I know a little bit about physics, but no, I did not major in physics in college. Okay, thanks, Shrek. The two things you would never talk about is religion and politics. Okay, so why are you in this room? Because this is a political room. Sarah, do you want to see other ideas coming from ocean water sources? Yes, there are some very cool other issues with ocean water. So there's point absorbers and also wave generators that create electricity, which are very good. I do research the process as well a little bit, as much as I can. Okay, thank you, 2986. The ignore system on Von Live works wonders. It's pretty amazing. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Scissor Fight. Yeah, they already are banning a lot of religious displays from public areas. You're just reading about some wave generators coming online in the US for the first time. They're very cool. University of Oregon has done an excellent job with researching some of the wave generators. They're kind of one of the forefronts in that. So there actually is a university, I believe it's the University of, I can't remember if it was Alabama or Georgia, that actually does passive desalination on a much smaller scale. So they have, similar to David's domes, they actually have these small tabletop water desalinators that are very usable. So, and they can be used in especially around island situations and on the coastline. Yes, we all know you're married, abnormal, happily married. Well, you can do that. Yes, 610. You can do, it's not just turning it into it, but you can desalinate. You can distill it. It's basically a distillation system. I was reading that so the solar powered water distiller turns salt water into fresh drinking water with only sunlight required. There's a good one. So that's a ceramic solar powered still. That's very good. That solar still has the ability to collect about 5 liters of water a day and costs less than $50 to build. Fantastic. Thanks for submitting that link, Scissor Fight. He submitted a link from the Free Thought project called Solar Powered Water Distiller Turns Salt Water into Fresh Drinking Water with Only Sunlight Required. If I were to get married, would I sign a prenuptial agreement with David if I were to be legally married? If David would want me to? Yes, I read what you're saying. 2986, I don't understand why you're so worried about interracial crime. Oh, some people are worried that Jade Helm will be in 12 minutes. And they say that the elitists are at the viewing centers to watch the Jade Helm action because it's their latest Super Bowl. Do I think the government will target ATP with Jade Helm? No, I don't believe so. Especially since they're all preparing in the Southwest and we're in the Northwest. So Trump, according to a link, well, I can't read your link, guest 282, because I can't read links from guests. But according to that guest, Trump says I would bomb the oil fields of ISIS, which I think is ridiculous. Oil is too valuable to burn, in my opinion. Oh, good. Thanks, Joey Bag of Donuts. I don't really follow a lot of other shows. Okay. So an undercover video shows a Planned Parenthood official discussing fetal organs used for research. I could see that possibility, Scissor Fight. Can you get... Well, I think you're asking that of somebody else, Shrek. I don't sell McFlurries. Okay. Oh, you signed back on to give me the link. Thank you, Logo Graphics. It's a CNN link with Trump saying he would bomb the hell out of the oil fields when discussing ISIS. He would take away the oil. It's... I just feel like the whole...
I want to ask you about ISIS. You said nobody would...
The whole issue of oil and the military-industrial complex is really ridiculous. I don't know if she's not IMing me. I can't read her IMs if she is IMing me. Okay. Republican lawmakers are vowing a fight to derail the nuclear deal that Obama is supposedly signing with Iran. And now there's finally calls for justice reforms in communities, courtrooms, and cell blocks. Finally, supposedly crossing both party lines. And a couple of people were in a small plane crash here in Washington State, in a mountainous area. Honda is going to pay out $24 million for discriminatory lending. He's just heating up his coffee, 610. Oh, everybody's worried about ISIS, and they're just continuing the military-industrial complex. Ugh. MoneyWise411.com says the government is attempting to ban cash.
I heard that, yeah. South Carolina won't allow transactions on like garage sale items in cash. You have to pay in check in South Carolina. I heard about that. I drink hazelnut coffee, and I get my coffee at Ross for Less. Hi, Abnormal. Today we went out to Ross for Less, and I bought two 12-ounce packages of hazelnut organic coffee for $5 a package, plus a 10% discount for being over 55 or older. I got my first senior discount today. Isn't that wonderful? I even told two women in line, I said, hey, don't forget your 10% senior discount at Ross today, Tuesdays.
Oh.
And they both said, oh, thank you. A Japanese-American woman was very happy to get that discount. $5 per 12 ounces. So I spent $10 minus 10%. The bill was $8.98. I'm 55.
So you have a problem with the border, DT Allura? You have with the Canadian-U.S. border? What would you like to see improved with the Canadian-U.S. border? They don't hire anyone over 45? No. Well, I think that what we have with the U.S.-Canadian border, we have like a virtual, they call it a virtual fence, which is more like television access in certain remote locations, which I think is a good thing.
You know, that's a good question.
I know, the special, you liked it the way it was before, where you didn't have to have a special driving passport. I agree with that, because now I haven't been to Canada because I have to get a real ID or some kind of passport, and I don't like that either.
I don't like that either. We will be making a beer in the White House, a blueberry Hefeweizen, which I think is great. The American people are going to love the taste of it, and it's going to be a collector's edition, and it'll help finance the beer making operation, as well as White House extra payments that our government normally pays, like Barack Obama to I don't know, they pay him to go on vacation. Money that we earn at that beer concession will actually go toward that fund. Someone said, good question, someone said, how can we possibly allow $500 million going to rebels in Syria that are going to actually hold Christians and Catholics hostage, kidnapping them? Which is really kind of wild. You know, our Syrian policy is convoluted, and it doesn't make any sense. And even Chuck Hagel, our former Secretary of Defense, who asked the important question to Barack Obama, what is your policy toward Bashar al-Assad? That got Chuck Hagel fired. Just asking him that question. What's your strategy? We don't have a strategy. America really doesn't have a strategy. we are completely doing the work of the World Bank, trying to break down the Syrian government, destroy them. You see, the World Bank this is the truth. They're trying to take over every single central bank in the world. They're looking for a global world government. They want it all. And they won't have anything less. So recently with the problems in Greece, it's starting to break down. They don't have enough money to back their EU plan. Greece can't possibly be bailed out. So Greece is going to have to rest on its own laurels. No pun intended. Laurels, that's part of the Greek culture. And we're going to see people in every country that is part of this new world order, if you will. The EU is one of them. They break down. They're not going to be able to have their world currency and their little global game these monarchs are trying to create is going to fail. We're at the verge of a complete meltdown of the New World Order. We're going to see that entire plan fragment. And the reason why I say that is there is a strong precedence in history for the nation-state model to survive all attacks. Caesar tried to attack it, he failed. Hitler tried to attack it, he failed. Every single world dictatorship like this New World Order that's forming has been destroyed by the simple reality that people can take care of their own problems. They don't need some world authority to tell them what to do or to give them extra credit and unnecessary leeway to screw up. And that's what they do. Whenever there's an opportunity, somebody will steal that money. And that's what's happening. The corrupt leadership in those countries steal the money. So the New World Order is a fallacy. It always was. I'm not going to hang with the Pope. He recently said that he didn't believe that there is a hell. And I'm beginning to think he may be going there. You see, I believe in a God, and I believe in hell. And I believe there's a place for people to go who do bad things. I don't like it when a world religious leader undermines his own faith and the people's faith that once supported him. I'm not a Reformed Catholic. I'm no longer a Catholic. I was a baptized Catholic, but I'm no longer a Catholic. Well, thank you, Sarah. You've had a wonderful night. It's a night for you. I'm going to do a little after show, kind of wind down with everybody. But this
after show?
Yeah, this is a Pope. Let me tell you a little bit about the Pope here, because this truth may be told here now. Oh, sorry. You okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Everyone's saying thank you. Sleep well, guest 400 says. Guest 652 says, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, the Pope no longer believes in a hell because he's probably, a Luciferian. So many of them are. Scissor Fight says, night, Sarah. 521 says, Sarah. Night, Sarah 742 says. Thank you. So everyone, she's saying thank you. See, you're so well loved here on our show. She's an awesome lady, I know. She could be the first female president in the future. It takes a very logical mind to be a good president. And I assure you, Hillary Clinton is not the most logical person out there. I know. I can tell you, Hillary Clinton cannot handle a fax machine. The recent emails that were revealed by the FBI and then redacted show that Hillary Clinton cannot handle a fax machine. She had a meltdown over a fax machine. Sarah could handle a fax machine, I assure you. She can build our website. She's much more capable than Hillary Clinton. I'm not a porn star. Despite the fact that I may look like other people you're constantly masturbating to, I'm not that person. I've never revealed my naked body. It's too beautiful to reveal. Thank you so much, 610. Appreciate it. I'm shocked about the Pope, too. I was a baptized Catholic, and I just heard from somebody, a fairly good source, the Pope doesn't believe that there's a hell. And this is a Pope that wants to be known as a saint, kind of a little self-aggrandizing, if you ask me. I mean, he's going around washing people's feet in the Vatican area with warm water. He wants to be canonized. I know. And then when you look at the fact that he was Cardinal of Argentina, overseeing the Nazi shipments during the Vatican rat lines, in which the Nazis were transported into Argentina. Yeah. You're beginning to understand the whole situation now, right? Former leader of the Jesuit order, the first military leader of the Vatican to become Pope. This could be the Pope that they prophesized about, the wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm a little worried about him. I don't know how anyone can predicate their belief in God if they didn't believe in hell. I don't get that. Maybe you could explain it to me, please. You're an atheist, so you don't know? We ought to call this the fart chair, because every time you go back in it, it sounds like a large fart. It's great. Hell is nighttime, when you have to stay awake because you're insomniac. You know, one of the best ways to go to sleep, if you're an insomniac, is to try to stay awake. He said it's great. Wow. Dave, you have so much knowledge my head hurts at the end of your show. Oh my God, Oma. Well, don't listen to everything I say. That's okay. Was it a lame video? We're not going to watch it? Okay. I'm trying to find the video. You want to give me the link again? That's not true. No, you guys are trying to achieve greatness. I was born great, okay? I just knew I was great when I was born. So, I mean, not many people have that knowledge. My campaign will never fail. I'm already succeeding. You have no idea, do you? Oh my God, Guest 364 thinks I'm going to fail. I am growing like wildfire in an area that the government cannot control. In the word of mouth that's spread about America's third party, we have gained enormous supporters over the past 6 months, let alone a year. And I want to thank everybody who is talking about us and telling everyone the good news about a brand new party that's trying to unite in the middle of the country between social liberals and fiscal conservatives. I think it's a great meeting of the minds, if you will, because a lot of times the social conservative, it just doesn't fit in the scheme of the social liberal mentality. So that's why the Democrats don't hang with the Republicans primarily. It's the social conservative issues like school prayer. But I have ways in which I can craft a socially conservative approach toward abortion, where women would only have an abortion during the first trimester, unless they were raped and a rape kit was performed. And this would give people a little bit more time to or at least the realization that little baby fetuses bigger than this won't be terminated and chopped up with a blender. Let's just face it, it's murder. We're killing little people. You were a baby fetus at one time. So just put yourself in the baby fetus position. Would you want an electric blade hitting your head when you're almost ready to give birth? Hello. This is a no-brainer. So something like that would be good. But I don't believe in school prayer, so what I would suggest is maybe 1 or 2 minutes of school meditation. For those of you that want to pray, you could pray in any way you want, something like that. Could you get your kids to settle down for 1 minute? Because I don't have kids. Could you? Could you get, as a teacher, I would ask Sarah that, could you get kids to be quiet for 1 minute? It's very difficult.
Yes.
You can? Okay, 1 minute of prayer, would be acceptable?
1 minute moment of silence.
1 moment of silence. We're going to call it meditation time. You like that? Because you can call the word meditation prayer if you want. It's okay. I know. I've got that coffee. I'm telling you, the hazelnut coffee keeps me going. Really? A gay man has filed a $70 million lawsuit against 2 Bible pushers, claiming their translations of the Bible calling homosexuality a sin caused him emotional distress. Wow. I hope those Bible publishers were the Westboro Baptist Church. That would be a very good match of 2 lawsuits. I don't have any kids. I don't want a kid, primarily because, frankly, I don't want them to be at risk. And frankly, I could not do a show here if I was with kids. I mean, I'd feel like a bad dad. If I had kids in the other room and I was talking here on the show, I'd feel like an idiot. I would spend my time with my kids, not talk to you people. There's a lot of greed on the earth, and that's one of the reasons why we've seen so many problems with all the political parties out there. We're going to make sure that anybody who runs under the America's Third Party banner will be reviewed by a group a committee within our organization to define payback, making sure that payback does not occur, where donations don't equal, good deals with the government. You see it with the Clinton initiative and how they've been now pursued with racketeering charges, indicted. Yet Bill and Hillary aren't even named in this suit. It's crazy. We are your kids now. Oh, thanks, kids. Well, that's nice. I'm glad I'm giving my kids some time here. I see the political party, the third party, as a kind of a baby. It's very... to give you an example of the baby, it's actually weather-worn baby. It's got leathery skin, and it could probably be bounced around the market, and it would still be okay. And I would never do that to a baby. Our third party has been, in its infancy, literally ridiculed, slammed, scammed. We've been trolled, swatted, DDoSed, doxed. I mean, we've been everything. Seriously. We got through a death threat series that ended up in a bomb threat. That we had the Navy bomb squad come to our home. So, I mean, we've been holding on to this little baby, and it's still strong. But it needs nourishment now, and it needs more people to believe in it. Sarah is supporting me, and I'm supporting Sarah. I want you to know that we both support each other because we are trying to do the best we can for this party. Trump is going to end up on the internet getting chopped up by Chapo's thugs. I hope not. Trump doesn't deserve that. I'm a little concerned that if he's going to believe in the country, which I do, you can't anger your enemies. You can't create a war. The worst thing he could do is what he did, to generalize and call Mexicans, our border country of Mexico, murderers and rapists. Okay, SEAL Team 6. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the truth of what happened when bin Laden was attacked. Was he really attacked? Or was he an imposter? I really don't know. And the more I look at the pictures, the more I believe that he was an imposter. I've lined up the pictures of bin Laden, and there's no way that he matches the original pictures. Well, it is a shame I'm not on the platform to all of them out there in the party. Yeah, I hear you, Guest 521. I mean, the Republicans won't talk to me because I'm a third party, and the Democrats won't talk to me because I'm a third party. First of all, I don't believe this story right here. I have eyewitness testimony from Reggie Love, Obama's body man, during this time period when he was apparently standing there or photoshopped in this picture to have a head smaller than the guy, half the size of the guy next to him. I actually have a testimony from Reggie Love. Let's listen to it.
Most people were like down in the situation where it was like, I'm not going to be down here. I can't watch this entire thing. And just so he, myself, Pete, Susan, the White House photographer, Marvin, we must have played 15 games of spades.
Yeah, let's hear this again. 15 games of spades?
Probably, typically, like the weekends, he'll work like a half day. And this Sunday, we were there until almost, I think he went on TV at midnight, and almost midnight, and sat around in the private dining room, kind of like, most people were like down in the situation room, it was like, I'm not going to be down here, I can't watch this entire thing, and just, so he, myself, Pete, Susan, the White House photographer, Marvin, we must have played 15 games of spades.
15 games of spades. Wow. Unbelievable. Wow. I believe him. I believe him because he's Reggie Love. Yeah, did they really get Osama bin Laden? That's a really big $1 million question. Here's a picture of the imposter. As you can see, his face is, he's wearing makeup, obviously. There's no doubt about it. And he has darkened his beard, which in the Wahhabi faith, in Islam, that's sacrilege. You don't wear dyes or makeup. Here's the real Osama bin Laden, and you can see some key differences in their appearance. I think it's safe to say that we've got And very similar features, no question about it. I mean, let me line up their faces more here. Let's drop his head down. It's funny, their nose isn't in the same place. Wow, just notice that. Relative to the eyes. I think my pupils here have to go down up a little bit. I'm having a hard time getting my pupils up here. The lips are definitely different. You can go side by side on these things and you can see the lips. Let's do a side-by-side comparison, okay? Look at that. The nose is slightly wider in the bridge. You can see that. And the eyes are sunken and in different place. Now, the eyebrows have been painted on the one on the left. But the lips are the telltale sign. They are just not the same guy. But close. But no banana. No Osama. Is that Jesus? No, that was a guy named Osama bin Laden, Foxman's mom. Foxman's mom, thank you for coming in. Are you really Foxman's mom? Take it to the bridge. You never heard of Osama bin Laden? Wow. Name we country out there is better than West. Nothing. They had nothing better than a Western Christian country. I hear you. I'm kind of biased that way. Yeah, I'm an American, and I support everything this country stands for. Yes, I do. Can I do an impression of Bush? Which one? Bush 1 or Bush 2? It was a nice use of a banana, yes. Sponheim, here would get ate alive in real debate with a schooled politician? Not true. Bring one on. Bring one on the show, and I'll rip him a new one. He'll be growing little buttholes and crapping all over himself. Go ahead, bring him in. I can rip into anybody. I'm a professional at verbal combat. Prostate's doing great. Let me check. Real good. So yeah, I'm a person who can completely mess with a person's communication skills. I never had sexual relations with anyone. I never had sex with anyone, not even my wife. I never had sex with myself. Yeah, those are the kind of things that we do. But the reality is I am a verbal combat expert and use a kind of jujitsu. If you've heard of word salad, well, I do a thing called like hyper jujitsu word salad, where I can flex and move. You can't nail me down. I'm totally committed to each thing I say, but you can't nail me down. And that's really difficult in an argument with a person. I'm a master of the oblique and the abstract. I'm not an actor from Hollywood. There's nothing special about me except for the fact that I'm a genius. And an average guy, too. One of you. I shop at Walmart for my milk. That's right. We love you, David. Oh, yes, we do. Well, you don't have to be my admiration society. It's okay. I'm okay. I can float on my own with my own ego. I'm fully inflatable. You can't nail me down, no. I'm very fluid and dynamic as a speaker. So when you get responses, they'll be direct, to the point, but then you'll be wondering, wow, I never thought of that. You won't know what to respond to. You'll be like, that's different. Wow. I have myself, yeah. I want everyone here to give yourself a good hug, okay? Just a feel good, just love yourself, you know? Imagine what the world would be better, how much better it would be if we all loved ourselves and didn't feel so inferior and secure. You can try to kiss yourself, but that would get a little weird. No, I just said give yourself a hug. Just a good feel-good hug. Just wrap yourself arms and say, I love you, myself, you know, that kind of thing. Isn't that nice? You see, I took your mind off of debate and got into love. That's the kind of fluidity, in a dynamic conversation that only I can do. Very few people are trained in this highly developed verbal skill. I converted somebody talking about a debate to me hugging myself and talking about love. Isn't that amazing? That's what I mean. You can't nail me down. I can't be pegged. You can't say, wow, you're really a Republican, because I'm so liberal. And the Republicans are going, man, you sound like a commie. And the commies are going, wow, you sound like a centrist. It's like, really? See, what I am is a person who has taken all parts of the political spectrum, all the best parts, and pieced them together and built this incredible book. And I built this book to help our country deal with incredible adversity coming up. It's not going to be pretty. We're going to need a life raft to get past this. The blackface gate, that's propelling me. When you say, how do I get past it? That's propelling me, sir. You have misjudged the blackface video, and there's nothing in it racist at all. And I would argue that anybody who's telling me I can't do a blackface impersonation of a black president is an idiot. Truly. Because it is truly free speech. And you have to understand, you cannot stand there and not question your president. I would expect you to question me on every single point. I'd expect people to be making fun of me on every single world theater there is, at every single venue. I would expect people to be impersonating me. But when somebody impersonated Barack Obama after I did the blackface video, now many of you don't know that I did a blackface video in 2008 impersonating him. I cannot explain it, but it has gone viral around the world, but not on YouTube. People in all kinds of countries are talking about it. And it's simply a video describing Barack Obama as a flim-flam artist, basically using every means possible to control your belief that he's some sort of a great guy because he's a black president. It's an interesting use of words, too, I used. But that's in the archives. I recently did another one, but the one I did in 2008 went viral, and not on YouTube, though. The hit counter locked up on it. So it's playing in discotheques and dance clubs all over the world. I don't wear tight pants. You want to keep loose pants. It's better to have a little publicity. Yeah, bad publicity is good publicity in this instance. So a lot of you think that this is some sort of a liability. Don't understand that I actually had to do this just to break through to the world press, because no one wants to give a white man running for Congress any time on TV unless you're actually paying and you're a Democrat or a Republican and you're sucking up to those two parties doing whatever they tell you to do. Now, the reason why the Democrats and Republicans fear me so much is because I'm willing to tell people exactly what's on my mind. I don't filter it and run through a committee and say, well, I better not say that or I might get, offend anybody. I'm a person who's politically direct, and I'm exactly the person you need to help this country reform, to shrink the budget, and to build jobs in this country. I'm the person who will implement the plan. Not some pussy like Barack Obama who sits around kissing people's asses, corporations and whatnot, Wall Street executives, or whoever is pulling his strings, who knows, the Bilderberg Group. We have a plan to actually stimulate the economy and get our nation to run with a looped capital, to keep the capital in the system, not have it thrown away into black holes, welfare, food stamps for aliens, illegals, the whole thing. Trump doesn't have a chance. He's already completely gotten rid of the idea of a third party. He hasn't trumped me at all. In fact, Trump is basically disintegrating his entire Republican nomination. I have no hair plugs. This is my real hair, dude. Yeah, but I'm going to ban you for that. Thank you. No, he's basically disintegrating his whole plan. When he pissed off Mexico, he told the Republicans, vote for me. I'm not going to get the Latina vote. Seriously. Vote for me. I'm not going to get the Hispanics to vote for Republicans, which is all the Republicans want. Jeb Bush wants the Hispanic vote. He wants to pull it from Hillary. So when Trump was running and just pissed off Mexico with something fierce, he basically just ruined his chances of getting the nomination of the Republican Party. So he's sitting in a world of crap right now. Oh, he may be number one in the polls like Ron Paul was back in the 2012 election right around now. but in no way is he going to make it to the top. And the reason is, well, frankly, if he does make it to the top, that gives me a better opportunity. But the reason is he's going to be killing the Latina vote completely. Yeah, polls are fake. I agree. Anyway, that's one of his biggest faux pas, and if that's his biggest faux pas, that's about it. That's about the extent of his faux pas. But I have a feeling Donald Trump has a lot more to come. Anybody who sticks that big of a foot in their mouth early on in a race is bound to have 50 feet in his mouth shortly. Now, anytime a person bankrupts their entire life, 4 bankruptcies this guy has, he's not a rich man. He's a person who's borrowed his money. He may call himself a rich man, but in my opinion, he's a borrower. Thank you. Anybody can become a borrower, especially with billions of dollars in equity. Thank you. He will ruin America. I agree. If he's elected, God save us all. I'll be living in my own special place. So hopefully I'll be insulated from the disaster that's coming. But many other people may not be living in my special place. And you may not be able to resist what's coming, which is an absolutely horrific takedown and depopulation plan orchestrated by the wealthy and powerful elitists who are working clandestinely behind closed doors to buy our country and then sell it. Obama's already a disaster. I know. Well, ATP is never going to be over because we've done nothing wrong, and as long as the laws remain the same, the American people can have a voice. It's just very small. But yeah, we're not going to be over at all. In fact, if he were to run as a third-party candidate, which he's already said he doesn't want to do, he would be stepping in my area, and basically it'd be like walking into a badger's lair. You don't want to put your... Thank you. You don't want to... I'm going to mute you. You don't want to put your hand in a badger's lair. Seriously. And if Donald Trump thinks he's going to walk into the idea of a third party ever, without ever working toward that goal and spending 7 years honing policy and platforms that will appeal to the American voter, and with me not even getting 1 second of mainstream media attention, I'll be running an incredible hate campaign. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a centrist. And anybody who says I'm a Democrat is a scumbag. Okay? Now we've name called. Now we're doing exactly what the Democrats do. I don't know. All I can tell you is it doesn't matter that Donald Trump hates Hispanic people. It may matter to Hispanic people, but it doesn't matter in the big picture. Because what we've found out is that Donald Trump is essentially a hater. That's not good. You got to be a lover to be president. And you got to be lovable. I mean, that's nothing more unlovable than a person who hates on people, And and stop being racist. Exactly. He's a hater. What does that bumper sticker say? Mean people suck? I think you understand what I'm talking about. So, what's that?
Never mind, I'll tell you later.
Okay. Well, let me show you a picture of Donald Trump hating. Okay, because I know everyone likes pictures here. I have good traits. Yeah, this is a typical day in the Donald's life. This is why I'd be telling him, "You're fired." Okay? Now, he's not in a good mood there. You're fired. I can see why a lot of you people think I look a lot like Donald Trump. I can see that. Well, my hair is 10 times better than his, but you're fired. You're fired. I just can't look that mean. I'm sorry. I tried. I just can't get that mean look. I just have a better personality, I think. Let's face it, personality is going to win this election. Am I right? Aside from great ideas? I do have the look of the president. I do. And the reason why I have the look of the president is because I will be president. I have the confidence to become president, and I have the confidence to lead this great nation out of the situation it's in right now. But we also need to build this plan to help people with housing, get back to the basics with everyone's key things like getting opportunity to get education. Because obviously right now people can't afford an education. That the people who keep racism alive are the same people who see it in everything. Interesting. Yeah, there you go. Guess 143 said a mouthful. That's true. He drinks haterade. Really, Willie? That's pretty funny. Well, I think I have a great personality, Moodley. But if you want to sit there and comment and record everything I say, why don't you just work for the newspapers? Why don't you do something good and productive with your life instead of just coming in here and cutting and pasting my quotes? I mean, I got one guy sending my video of me saying that I think Sandy Hook is a false flag to all the networks because he says, I'm going to destroy you. It's like, what, dude, don't you realize a lot of people are believing that Sandy Hook is a false flag? I mean, this is like a no-brainer here. I'm going to destroy you, he said. I'm not delusional, Barker. I have no history of being delusional. I'm merely American running for president, man. That's all I've ever been. That's right, Sandy Hook was a Hillary operation. I believe it. Thanks, Oma. And if any one of you want to watch this show later, you can always go to our americasthirdparty.com channel and catch the archive of the show. Okay? I'm looking forward to doing another show tomorrow night, which will be Wasteful Wednesday. Hi there, Insane Clown Posse. Welcome. Hi there, Rodney. You're in as a guest. I can see that. His trademark statement. Dave, has the show started yet? Okay, let's talk about the Amero. I know many of you are concerned that a new currency is on its way. Well, there's a lot of new currencies that a lot of these psychos want to put in play. But the biggest concern I have is that we get thrown into a moneyless society automatically, where cash won't even be honored anywhere. There's a trend in certain states now to not accept cash because they can't track it for taxation purposes. But there's a new UN world currency that they're proposing as well. It's kind of scary. I'll talk about that tomorrow on Wasteful Wednesday. But the fact is, an Amero or UN currency would be a disaster. The reality is, most people need something in their pocket to call money. But the elitists want credit, digital credit, to be the money. The elitists want to RFID chip the population and have our credit card in the RFID chip. The elitists want us to walk around not as individuals, free to speak our mind, but as conformists, status quo people that simply do what is politically correct. The elitists literally want to enslave us, and then they want to dispose of us. And I worked this logic out a couple days ago, and I'll leave it with you tonight to think about. In 3 sentences, I can describe exactly what's happening. I heard Obama's arming Iran with nukes. I can't believe it. 1 year and 1 day and $50 billion. It's just crazy, 389. I'm absolutely shocked. Yeah, absolutely. And you got a good point, totally bogus. The black market will always survive. But let's look at it this way. First sentence. The elitists have made all of their money exploiting humans. Okay? That's one sentence, period. Robots can now do all of the human work practically for free. Period. Okay? Therefore, comma, elitists don't want us around the planet, eating, crapping, and using the resources they think they own. Period. 3 sentences, a devastating formula for the death of humanity, a 90% estimated depopulation plan performed by none other than the elitists through a New World Order takeover of our nation because we are the police force around the world, America is. And the last thing they're expecting is somebody with enough courage to stand up to them right now and build this political movement and challenge these people at their own game. And that's exactly what I'm up to. I will stand up to these people and I will stop what they're doing. I will begin phasing GMOs out. We'll file a lawsuit against Monsanto using the Justice Department and the precedent, the Supreme Court ruling that you cannot genetically patent a human being, a human organism. And we'll say that that's true with all carbon-based organisms. And we'll stop GMOs from happening as well. And then we'll shut down fluoride, and I'll put monitors in every water quality area in the country to make sure of that. And you guys are going to start realizing, oh God, we have a real political environment now. We can actually fix this problem. And then the people of this country will fix the problems that our leaders, our corrupt leaders, have created. And they will sit back and watch us prosecute anybody who's violated us over the past 50 years. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start with the healthcare industry because they're the biggest abuser. They're trying to rip the American people off. And tomorrow night we'll talk about Obamacare and how it's an incredible 30% gouge on our personal lives. All those health insurance companies now, they're going to have to be getting paid from your tax dollars for people that don't have any money. Be nice to Alma Posse. She's really nice. All right. Why would I punch a hole in the wall, man? I'm not angry. I'm trying to work these problems out. This is death care. There you go. I heard that Obama is going to start the death panels, that he's starting those up now. The commissions, who decides what, who gets what, and how much care. I'm great. Yeah. What do you mean? Am I okay? I'm great. No, I'm looking at the Samson mic right now. I bookmarked it just the other day. Yeah, I have it right in front of me right here. Take a look. It's a very affordable price, $34. And they say it's pretty cool for a USB portable mic. And it's the kind of thing I can take on the road with me. This AT2020 is just not performing as well. So for $34, that's not bad. I'm thinking of ordering it on Amazon. Whatever, it looks like a pretty good one. It's got 4.5 stars. I know Putin is going to be upset with Obama. The bottom line is Obama pissed off Putin big time. Now, I will reach out and form a summit meeting, even if it's a digital summit meeting, with Vladimir Putin. I want to help resolve the problems that we're facing right now. Oh, come on, Mutely, this is getting ridiculous. Yes, U.S. anti-crisis Obama and Turkey train 300 so-called moderate terrorists a year. You can go. Oh, I know. I'm fully aware of it, 143. We want a third party because we want a new policy in America, not run by the CIA. Whatever. It's just getting a little annoying you quoting me all the time. Thank you. I'm going to put you on mute. I really think the old one is just set high, too high because when you talk low, it actually sounds better. Really? Well, I've adjusted it down. Thank you. So, what do you think? Do I need a new mic? It's just overly sensitive.
If I talk like this, it's like I'm talking like Henry Kissinger. The New World Order will help with Obama and yeah.
You like that? Yeah, Scott Walker is taking the Cook brothers' money. I know. Sheldon Adelson's money. I know. AIPAC, mystery donors. Scott Walker is basically one of their paid guys that they've got lined up. It sounds like Alex Jones. So when I talk, it sounds like, "Come on, everybody, you're gonna be on the red list." Is that how it sounds? See, I can't always hear myself, and I don't listen to the recorded broadcasts. Obama, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces. Yeah, I just played that the other. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, the truth about Alex Jones was revealed early in the show. We talked about how he's already admitted he is Bill Hicks, the comedian guy. We talked about this earlier.
But to be more accurate, you didn't get it all, did you? You didn't get the full conspiracy. I played the character. Yes, I am Bill Hicks.
Okay. Have you considered Valium, Alex? That might help. I mean, just, yeah. Yeah, don't imagine him as a man with a lady boy. That's just, drag king coming from a transgender, that's a little crass, don't you think? Isn't that it's like calling the pot marijuana. David, we going to befriend Egypt with this Iran crap? No, Egypt not too happy. Okay, open my mic properties and turn off mic boost. Let's try that. We'll take care of this. We'll deal with this right now. Right here, right now. We don't have boost on there. We have volume range up to 100%. There's no delay. Okay, that's the mic properties on the XSplit. But you're saying go to the mic properties in the control panel? Take the filter off of your mic and clean the spit. Wow, that's helpful. Thanks. Dum de dum dum. Dum de dum dum dum. Testing, testing. We'll get you fixed right up, Dave. Alright. David, do you trim or your nose hairs? Actually, my nose hairs don't grow. Hi, Amy. Yes. I've trained them to stop growing. I breathe fumes, so they burn the nostril hairs off. Whenever the jet fumes drop in my outside at my house, I just breathe them in and go, ah, I can smell them cauterizing all the end pieces of my nose hairs. Ah. Speak loud. It's not, I'm not fixing it yet. Hang on. I have to go accessories. They used to have a thing in accessories called entertainment. They don't have that on this system. This could be system tools. Yeah. You know, I haven't had any of those types of convulsions or asthma, but you know that asthma is increasing rapidly among kids. You know that, right? 10 years ago, 1 out of 81 kids got asthma. Now, the number is 1 out of 30 kids are getting asthma. David, you are the future supreme leader of North America post-World War III. I had dreams 2 nights ago and I saw it. You and I are seeing the same dreams. I saw that when I was a child too. Good night, Sunstar. Sleep well. Yeah, I had this premonition that I'll be president. That's one of the reasons why I'm running for president. I told Sarah that. I said, Sarah, you know, if I hadn't had this early premonition in my life, I probably wouldn't even be running for president right now. Seriously. No, I'm not a Rothschild. I'm not any part of a secret society or anything like that. It's the new agenda to become fat, gay, and retarded. Wow. That's kind of scary. Okay, well, let's take these things off because they're just making you think. We wouldn't want you to think. Let's bring on the joy of your new life with your gay lover. So this picture really is out of context. So it's more like this. That's weird. Oh, there it is. So it's like fat, gay, and retarded, huh? Kind of like, there we go. So the really heavy people are going to be very risque. Yeah. Well, I guess everybody's going to love somebody, right? Hey, Dave, do you think ISIS will take over Damascus with the speed up? No. Barack Obama is funding the ISIL forces heavily. So I don't think that they're going to be able to take over Damascus right away because they're currently attacking Iraq, our ally. Yeah. Barack Obama has decided to fund ISIL forces, which are obviously our enemy. Someone never told him about that. Solar-powered water distiller turns salt water into fresh drinking water with only sunlight required. Here's a really cool innovation. Thank you, Anti-Crisis. Okay. In Netanyahu overplaying his hand in a speech on Tuesday, described Iran's aggression as several times more dangerous than that of ISIS and claimed that Iran's ultimately true aim was taking over the world. Does anyone believe this? Does Netanyahu really? Yeah, he really does. And if you don't get your head out of your ass, you're going to realize that Israel is going to have a conventional war against Iran in about 6 months. But you're so Democrat that you just care so much about Iran that you want to protect a country with 9 missile factories and soon to have a nuclear weapon. You're that out of it. You're that completely confused. A nation that took aggression against our embassy employees 444 days. They were held hostage, 50 employees. You're a turncoat, sir. You're turning on this country. And you and Obama and John Kerry are selling this nation short. We're throwing us and the world under the bus because you are handing a nuclear weapon to a rogue nation with a hellish intent. And you should be ashamed of yourself. All right. Yeah, so we'll be talking about this solar-powered water distillery to help people in areas that are, drought-stricken. And it's a wonderful idea. Love it. The project, freethoughtproject.com is a great place to do this. Wow, look at that. It uses clay, too, evaporation. A revolutionary ceramic solar-powered still has the ability to combat one of the greatest threats to human life in the developing world, water insecurity. The solar still turns salt water into fresh water and can be built for under $50. Well, I'm building my hoop house for under $100, so I hope I'm going to be able to help all of you distill water once the crap hits the fan, especially in California. There's nothing good about the document. I have a looked at the document. I've got it on tap here. I'll be reading it closely tonight, but I am fully aware of the deal. It's a very bad deal. Iran is getting $50 billion that we don't have to afford, and they're getting the ability to create a nuclear weapon in 1 year and 1 day. Kerry is just trying to put a feather in his cap. Look, at you Democrats are to blame for not scrutinizing your own imbecile leaders. You are the ones to blame, you Democrats. You haven't even used the utility of politics to question your own leaders. You should be ashamed of yourself. Really. It's disgusting. I mean, not one Democrat has questioned Barack Obama that I can think of. Maybe Roger Moore. He's the only Democrat I can hear that actually questioned all the Wall Street giveaways that Obama gave. Tax breaks for the rich that he did in 2010. $2 gas is wonderful if it happens, but frankly, it's highly unlikely. More likely, they'll stop producing it and you'll see shortages. They'll stop refining it. Yeah, see, you can't even question a Democratic leader you voted for. That just shows no backbone at all. That shows how weak you are and how weak the Democratic Party is. They can't stand anyone that questions them. That's why they have this intent to vilify me in the news, in the foreign press. Local foreign press, they vilified me because they can't handle anybody questioning them. They can't handle the truth. Oh yeah, I heard some places in Virginia are paying $2. I know. I was surprised. A friend of mine lives in Virginia. He said, we only pay like $2.25 for gas here. It's like, wow, that's $1 cheaper than we're getting it. Hey, for all of you who are concerned about Jade Helm, try to stay indoors and not breathe the fumes. I've got a link from one of our supporters that I wanted to play before the end of the show tonight. We do an hour extra broadcast just because all these viewers are coming in talking, right? I don't want to, deny any of you a chance to talk about a third party. Yeah, Shaztrek sent us this amazing video. I'm going to play it for you. Of an AWACS vehicle coming into his area in Phoenix and getting ready to, it's scary, he said, getting ready to land. And they're going to be implementing this AWACS vehicle overhead tonight, tomorrow, the next day. Here it is. It's a massive plane. I'm here outside of Phoenix, Arizona, watching this AWACS plane flying overhead. The aftershock. Dave, you're little? I know. Look at this thing. This is scary. It's like, what the heck is going on here? There it is, everybody. That's what's coming in. That's AWACS. It's for surveillance purposes. They use it in war. Whoa. It's a communication hub. They use it to track all kinds of Air Force on the ground. That's courtesy of Shrek, everybody. There it is, coming in for a landing. They've got surveillance hacking computers in there. Yeah, these are very highly technical. So they're integrating the AWACS with the local 1,200 troops on the ground for Jade Helm. This is all part of Jade Helm. Well, it's just a giant speedboat. That's right. There it is, coming in for a landing, everybody. Is anyone getting excited? Hallelujah! NATO! NATO! Look at that, folks, NATO! Wow. That's pretty intense. Great picture. All right, folks, so this is a NATO operation. Let's talk about that, shall we? Let's have a conversation about that. We got a few minutes. NATO, North American takeover. That's right. Okay, coming up, link, folks. You guys grab it and put it in your own links and all your videos that you're making online. It was produced on June 24th, 2014. 2015, sorry. June 24th, 2015. All right, good luck. NATO and the UN is integrating in the Jade Helm operation in American soil. This is something that I want all of you to be aware of, that they have a plan integrating the UN into our country and our own defenses. Okay? Bruce Gender, are you giving me a real link? That's disgusting. Yeah. Bruce Gender, folks, is obviously obsessed with some very weird stuff. I know. I can't explain what I just saw. It was an anomaly of some sort. Somebody spent time on that. He's a sick bastard, I know. I know, I was like shocked. I didn't know how to take it off the screen. Don't send me bad links, guys, because it's really important that we have good stuff, like this animated boat that I'm going to put in my swimming pool. If any of you are getting excited for any reason, don't let it affect you. Please resist the temptation. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. That's a creepy boat, isn't it? I got that online. Is it like a delayed GIF animation? It was just so disgustingly weird. Russia could take over all of Europe in a matter of months. Who's not for the USA pumping up NATO? Is that a joke? I hope it's a joke, because that's pretty serious. Yeah, I don't think NATO in any way is vulnerable. Did you ever hear of missile defense systems? Wow. There is a black horse in the background. What is that? Does anyone know? I know, the kids need a lot of help right now. There's a lot of kids. You know that in 2020, by 2020, this is a shocking statistic, and it's true. I'm not lying, because I don't lie. 50% of U.S. children will have autism or ADHD or ADD or ADDO. 50% of the U.S. children by 2020 will have autism, ADHD, or ADD. Obviously, Kissinger still is in power, yeah. Erica, please don't post your sexy nude pictures here. I'm banning you. Yeah, thanks. I'm not lying. I don't lie. You know, I don't have tax records available for public viewing right now because there are no tax records. I haven't made any money to warrant taxes. Yeah. I retired 5 years ago. I live on my senses. Mostly my sixth sense. Yes. I retired from what I did before I retired. NATO was made to fend off Russia during the Cold War. I do pay property taxes, yes. It's public knowledge what the house or that holds my public records is charging me. So yes, that's all public information. Was I a smile model? Yes. Do I look like a model? Come on. A guy like me, I'm not that good looking. All right? Maybe somebody like Brad Pitt, you know. I heard Brad Pitt was right on the verge of a divorce. Have you heard? Eric Estrada? Really? Well, there's talk about it. Except I can't get the picture I saw in the recent. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even confirm whether he was replaced. Really, I did notice that the new Brad Pitt was different. This is getting me to wondering if he's been replaced. Thank you. Well, bottom line, there's a lot of foster care parents making $1,200 a month per child. Thank you, Dave. Dave Smokes Poll says, great show. I'm getting a little tan, yeah. Thank you. It's summertime. We are at the moment in history where the Koch brothers and other billionaires in the 15 years will now have access to billions globally. Yes, we'll have a nuclear bomb. That's right. Mooney, thank you. You're concerned about it too, I know. I'm terribly concerned about the greed and the power of money and how it's controlled American politics. Tell a friend, we got to get this third party going here. We believe that a third party is the key to stopping the two-party tyranny. All right? Thank you. Thanks everyone for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And doesn't go unnoticed. So Angelina and Brad Pitt were replaced years ago? Well, I got to tell you, this is a little weird. This is Brad Pitt on a set in New Orleans. Yeah, look at that. Does that look like him? Disgusting. I'm not Brad Pitt. I'm Beavis and Butthead. I don't know. I look more like Beavis and Butthead on that one. Yeah, I don't. It's just weird. It's like, I know he's. Well, you don't think it's Brad, is it? You said he was replaced. I don't know. Maybe not. Who cares? I don't have chest hairs. I have them all removed surgically. I'm kidding, it's a joke. Lex Luger. It doesn't matter what I look like, as long as I look like something. So, many of your friends are going to be coming into your local area to do some business with you. Barack Obama has allowed 5 million work visas to come into our country. And he just released 70,000 illegal aliens into our local cities from the prison system. So he supports amnesty. I don't. You can imagine me and a group of guys like this. Say, hey, homie, what's going on, man? Hey, Vato. Hey, Vato, what's going on, man? How you doing in here, man? You know, you can imagine how it would be for me to be here. Hey, man. You notice how I'm not making any signs with my hands? Because people accuse me of being an Illuminati member if I do. But yeah, these are the kind of guys that Barack Obama is putting into the country. And you get to sit back and watch the two parties to completely screw our nation over. Completely. Draining us of all education funds and all medical funds and just killing our nation. Charging you through the roof for your insurance, for health insurance and life insurance, because now gay people are allowed to become beneficiaries on their lovers' policies. So now we have more costs for life insurance. So we got that too going for us. Nice, huh? See all these fun things happening in America right now. Hey, I got a bug out bag that you wouldn't believe. I'm going to play you my video, and this is the truth. My video about survival kits. I created a bug out bag video for YouTube, and I'm going to play it for you throughout because it's really good for all of you to stock up. I think that's the best thing I can possibly do for all of you. Thank you for that suggestion. I appreciate it. All right, so listen to my bug out video that I made a couple of years ago. Learn about survival, personal survival. Carry something like this in your car because you never know when you're going to need support for you and your family. Mutely, you don't listen to me. I told you to stop quoting me, huh? So here it is, the survival video extraordinaire called Survival by me. All right. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to be back tomorrow night for Wasteful Wednesday, starting at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. And Jade Helm has started today. Basically, stay indoors, I would recommend, personally, just to be on the safe side. Now that doesn't mean there's a curfew or anything, but just, try not to get a lot of fumes, because these vehicles are really fumy. They're going to be flying Apache helicopters, Apache H-64 helicopters in the area of Phoenix. They're going to be doing a lot of surveillance and a lot of interaction with the UN, because they're planning on some sort of a big event. You saw one yesterday? Wow. In Greensboro? Wow. Thank you, 652, for coming in. Apache helicopters, yeah. Where's the stream of Jane? I don't have the stream for you right now. Well, I'll do the I am not a porn star after my survival video. So first the survival video, then I'm not a porn star, and then I'll play a variety of videos related to truth. Okay? Thank you, Amy. Sleep well. Good night, everybody. I hope you get a good night's sleep. All right? Thanks for coming in. Here it is about survival.
Hi, my name is David John Sponheim, and what you're about to see is how to make an urban survival kit on the fly in less than 10 minutes, starting with your clothes, okay? Now what I've done here is I've pretty much double layered my clothing, triple layered my clothing, so that we have maximum clothes when you go out the door. Now, if you're traveling in a situation, you've got to be able to be mobile. And that means that you've got to be able to handle your clothes, keep them warm, and keep them on your body. Now, everybody's got a backpack. If you've got a backpack like this is a perfect urban survival kit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to pack it and what you need. Okay? Starting with the number one essential ingredient, water. You've got to have water. So what I've got here is one of these water bottles that filters on the fly. This will take swamp water and turn it into fresh drinking water. You got to buy one of these. They're readily available at any survival store, any outfitter in America. Okay, put that in the backpack. Then you got, this is an essential thing, you got a kinetic flashlight. You'll be able to shake it up. You can get flashlight power anytime without batteries. Fantastic. Okay, then, it's absolutely essential that you have a cooking supply. I recommend getting sterno. Okay? That goes in the base of your backpack. Matches, really important. That can go in the front of your backpack so it's easy to get to. Get a lot of matches. You're going to need a cooking device, and I urge you to get something like this. This will actually turn into a frying pan. It gives you the ability to have a frying pan and a kettle all in the very same kit. Okay? You can make a lot of things with this stuff. All right, that basically is the start of what you've got. You've also got a desperate need for an air mask. This is a 3M N95 mask, which is recommended to protect against viruses. So in the event of a disaster, you're going to need an air mask. It's really important you have at least one of these. You can put this in the side of the flashlight. All right. Also, bring a washcloth, because you're going to need to wash yourself. Cat washing is what you do when you're basically in a survival situation. You wet the washcloth and wipe yourself. It's great, clean. You're also going to need some sort of a Swiss Army knife, very essential. I'll throw that in the side pocket. And very vital, first aid kit. Any one of these is available at a local store. Put that in the front pocket so it's available with the matches. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you some basic things you can buy at the store. These basic things were very affordable. Vienna sausages. I've got a pack of about 20 cans of these things. I put them in one of these priority boxes. I'm going to throw it right in the backpack. Okay? Then, I think it's really important that you have a can opener, so get a can opener. And what I have is a can opener attached to a little spoon and a knife set. Basically a fork and knife all built into one little device. And this is really important, and keep that in one of the side pockets so you can get to it. I also recommend carrying an LCD or an LED light that can go on your forehead and will help you get into a situation or out of a situation at night, okay? Now, what we're going to do is show you some basic food items you can buy at any store, really cheap. Pork and beans. Get this. This is really easy to cook, and you can eat it right out of the can. Also, pick up some salad dressing. Could be mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, anything, even salad dressings like this. This is really important because sometimes you find leafy vegetables like dandelions and you have to eat it. It makes it a little bit more appetizing. I get these tomato sauces, which are lightweight and in plastic bags or metal, some sort of Mylar bag. Really good. I got about 4 or 5 of these. We're talking top ramen. Get as much as you can. It's really light. You can go on the top. It's got a little food packet in it. It's actually for flavoring. I have about 20 packs in here, okay? Basically, this is how full my survival pack is so far. And I urge you to get some tuna fish. Tuna fish is really high in protein and will get you through some rough situations. Open a can of tuna fish, put some condiments on it, and you're good to go. Then I also, that tomato sauce earlier, I recommend getting angel hair pasta. It is easy to make, really thin, and it can cook very fast. You can use a small amount or as much as you need depending on how many people you're cooking for. And you want to get dried fruit. In this particular case, I got some dried blueberries. Great antioxidant, gets you going on the road. I also recommend any other canned food that you can find, and I recommend crackers of any sort. So we've got a box of these crackers that are whole grain, provide basic food supply in the event of a disaster. You're good to go. It's easy to eat. And you can usually buy these things at a wholesale food supply store, and you can put this right on top. I'm still within a time frame to get out of the house in the event of a disaster. Now, I did this with the intent of being able to carry this pack, so you don't want to make it too heavy, but I'll tell you, it's really important. You got to have a down sleeping bag. This is your urban survival kit, and you can carry this anywhere. Anywhere you're at, in your trunk, the back of your house, wherever you are, you're ready to go. I urge you to do this because if you don't do it, you'll regret not doing it. Now, it doesn't have to be a big pack like this. It could be a smaller pack, but the bottom line is if you're prepared for survival in this situation, you're going to survive. You're going to be able to be one of the few to get through a very rough situation, an earthquake, a tornado, a hurricane, a nuclear attack where you don't know where you're going to be underground, or possibly any kind of biological attack where you have to have air masks and protection. So I just did this in less than 10 minutes. You can do it too. I urge you to do this. And if I am your president in 2012, I will be preparing the FEMA regional locations with urban survival kits just similar to this. They'll be able to be available to the American people in the event of a disaster. Preparedness is everything. Civil defense is everything. So I urge you to go check us out at americasthirdparty.com and find out how we're changing how America will respond in a disaster. Thank you.
Check us out at americasthirdparty.com.
Hi, I'm David John Sponheim, and I want to be your president. People are asking me every day on our blog TV show, are you like a porn star or something? And I'm going to tell you, man, I am not a porn star. In fact, what happens when a president has to answer the ultimate question, are you a porn star? And the answer is, like, from Nixon's point of view, is, I want to make this perfectly clear. I am not a porno star. Or maybe if you were Jimmy Carter would have said, I think that Rosalind and I are not engaged in any behavior like that. I did lust after a Playboy magazine, though. Or maybe Ronald Reagan, the guy who pushed Jimmy Carter aside and showed us what true presidents are like. Ronald Reagan. Well, I'm sure Nancy and I wouldn't have approved of that, but it would have been awfully fun. Or, Mr. Gorbachev, take down your pants. Or could it be like George H.W. Bush? 1,000 women I didn't do. Or America is a new world odor. Or Bill Clinton, I never had sexual relations on camera. or something maybe even more contemporary, like George W. Bush, you know? People die fighting for a porno. Laura and I never did that. So what if Barack Obama said, make no mistake about it, I'm not a porno star. Could you advance the teleprompter? Okay. I think this guy should admit to having never been a porno star either. Ooh. Don't ever call me a porno star. What if he did that? Wouldn't that be better and perhaps more presidential of him to be real as opposed to unreal and like a cardboard cutout, teleprompter reading president that you've got today? I would rather be the president to communicate directly to you, and you can do that when we do our blog TV show. We do it almost once or twice a week, and you can check it out at americasthirdparty.com. Just go there and you'll see the blog show live. We will do these shows on a weekly basis because we truly think that we can keep the message alive for 2012. Thank you. I'm David John Sponheim, and I approve this message.
What you're told.